Okay. Hello YouTube. Okay. This is a new computer that I'm streaming on, guys. I'm not, this is my first time streaming on this one, so if there's any issues, I apologize for that. I do a nice fun Red Dead stream, and you know, Rockstar's running out of time right now because they said early summer, and you know, this is more than halfway through June right now. No word on the update still. Okay, but let me know in the comments section, guys. Let me know. Are you guys able to see the stream clearly? Are you able to hear me clearly? Does everything sound good? Is everything good? Because like I said, this is the first time that I'm streaming on this this is a new computer that I have here. Like I said, this is the first time that I'm streaming on
Okay,
yeah.
I've just watched part of the stream. It's really good. Okay. Plus, you have a Panther here if you want to come and get it, a legendary Panther.
Up here. Hi Jams. Hi Pro, can I join you? Thank you for the super chat. Anyone can join me. And let me
Tell him to send me a friend request. Just don't
Okay, this should be a lot better now. Okay. Okay, I got my thing on full screen here on my game now. This should be good. Yeah, because this computer that I'm playing on right now, this is actually a laptop. So this is a new laptop that I bought. And I bought this because I'm in New York, again. I'm in New York for a month, visiting my family for 4th of July. Thank you, Milo, for the super chat. Thanks, man. And I didn't want to bring my gaming PC with me to New York when I was flying, because the thing about it is that my case is all glass, and I know that the people at the airport, they just throw stuff, and the last thing I would need is the whole thing to shatter and everything to get destroyed. So, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, and it's also more weight for me to carry, so I said, you know, I'm gonna buy a laptop just to have here in New York, so whenever I visit, I can just use this and, you know, do YouTube stuff on it. And this laptop's pretty good. I like, you know, screen's not as big as my computer, obviously, but, you know, it's a nice little laptop here, and I like it. Did you hear about the PS3? What about the PS3?
Oh yeah,
there's a Dmitry lore video coming out. I'm gonna try to have it out this weekend. Just please be patient with me. Script is 95% done. I've just you know, been busy with a few things. And have you played Infamous? Yes, I have. How long are you in New York? A month. So I'm returning July 20th. So, you know, a month basically.
They're closing the GTA Online servers for Xbox 360 and PS3.
You know, that's the only place that, like, you don't have to deal with the stupid overpowered vehicles is the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions.
Yeah. You know, TGG made a video about, he played GTA online on PS3, and you can see, like, halfway through the video, really, that there are no oppressors, so everything is quiet.
Farley's Ranch Station. That's not that far. I'm gonna do the ballad right after I finish the Lost and Damned. And I have like 3 lore videos coming out in the Lost and Damned when I finish it. I'm also gonna have a bit of a rant coming out in the Lost and Damned regarding Johnny and what they did in GTA 5. Hey Pro, will you do a playthrough of GTA Vice City Stories? Thank you, Gabriel. Yes, I will. Later this year, I'll do it. I swear, this update that's coming out on Red Dead, this update better be good, because if this is not good, this is the end of this game. If this new update sucks on Red Dead, this robbery update, this update sucks, I think that's it for this game. I think that there's going to be a lot of players that aren't going to come back to this game, and, you know, I hate to say that because I really like this game, and I play this game a lot on my channel, but, you know, the Red Dead community is fed up with Rockstar, they really are, and if they screw them over again on this update, I don't think Rockstar realizes how many people are going to stop playing this game. There's a lot of players that haven't played in a while gaming, that's true, but the thing is, though, is that those players would come back to the game if there's new content. And thank you, Jammy, for the super chat. Hello from the UK. Hey, man. My cousin lives in the UK. I can't wait for all the Lost and Damned lore videos. Yeah, those would be pretty good. Do you think Billy and Dutch are similar? In a way. You know, people compare, you know, Brian to, like, Micah, where both of them are kind of suck-ups to the leader, which is Billy in Lost and Damned, and, you know, Dutch in Red Dead. But the difference between Billy and Brian is that...
You have to heads up, we have people on the way. I have,
What?
I have him on my site. We have people on the way, known as, tell me that to start shooting at you.
Well, the difference between Micah and Brian is that even though both of them suck up to their leader, Dutch and Billy, the difference between that is that, what's his name? Micah is actually pretty intelligent. Micah is a psychopath, but at least Micah knows what he's doing and he's manipulating Dutch. Brian is just a bit of an idiot. The sad thing is Rockstar has a lot of studios and they just focus on GTA Online. Yep. Yeah, they do, Gabriel. You're right on that. There's a camp up here. There's a smoke. If anyone wants to go do it, go ahead. Oh, never mind. There's a bunch of dead bodies there. How many episodes of The Lost and Damned will there be? Well, what, I'm on part 5 right now, I'm just thinking. Next part's gonna be confronting Brian. And then after that, I'm trying to think what other missions there are. There's Elizabeta's missions, and that'll be a separate part. Then there's Ray's missions, that'll probably be a separate part. There's a final, maybe 4 or 5 more parts. Brian is so annoying, yes, he is. The Lost and Damned is only like a fifth of the size of GTA 4, so it's not, you know, it's not even like a quarter of the size of GTA 4's mission, so it's a lot shorter than people think it is. So it's I'm actually more than halfway through the game right now. I can't believe Brian is actually 39. Yeah, and the thing is, a lot of these characters, like Jim is 45. You know that I didn't think that Jim was 45. Jim looked to me like he was in his 30s. Like So I thought that, you know, I'm surprised. I think Jim is actually the oldest member, and I think Billy's in his 30s too. I think is Billy 37. I think Billy's 37, which I'm actually surprised. Billy looks like he's in his 40s, but you know that's what heroin does to people. It makes them look older.
I think I thought he was in his 50s when I started watching.
Yeah, Billy looks old. You know, but he's actually 37, so it's you know, I guess it's the heroin use. Clay. Oh, Clay is the oldest member. Yeah, you're right. Clay is the oldest guy. I just remember that. Yeah. And Johnny's in his 30s, I know that. Johnny looks like he's in his 30s, so that's fine, but, like, some of the other characters, like, their ages are a bit weird. Thank you, Awesomeness. What do I think of GTA Online shutting down on the old gen? I mean, it's a little sad, but, you know, I don't really care that much because I don't play on the old gen anymore, but, what I'll say about it is, it's the one place where you don't have to deal with overpowered vehicles. That's what's nice about it. Oh, thank you, Ali, Muhammad, for the super chat. Thanks, man. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm a little sick.
Saucer, do we have any events coming up anytime soon?
Just their reckoning so far.
Yeah, let me check.
Sure.
King of the Castle's in 28 minutes, so
Oh, we could do that.
we'll probably want to do a bunch of activities like bounties and stuff before then. But I'll let you know when we get close.
Where is your moonshine business, by the way?
It's by Emerald Ranch.
Oh, okay. How far are we from Emerald Branch right now? You really far?
It's like 5 minutes of running, something like
Oh,
that.
okay. Well, I mean, if you want, you could just go to Emerald Ranch and I could just drop this off. It's up to you.
Oh wait, never mind.
I'll just fast travel.
I got the
It's
river
fine.
mixed up. I got the river mixed up. It's like 7-8 minutes. Just above like water.
Is Trevor Phillips a psychopath? No. No, he's not. You know...
He does have some sort of mental disease.
Well, Trevor is... The thing is, and this is, you know, this is the problem, is that, you know, like, Hollywood in general, like, you know, people look at, like, you know, movies and, you know, games and stuff like that, and that's what they use to determine what a psychopath is. But, like, you know, Trevor's not a psychopath. Trevor is insane. He is. He's crazy. He's insane. He's not a psychopath. A lot of times people think that psychopaths and insane people is the same thing. It's not. A psychopath can be insane, but it's different. Psychopaths can be very sane and very smart people also. So it's not the same.
You know, a lot of people mix psychopath with people who doesn't mind like seeing bodies and stuff. Personally, I don't mind because people a lot of times think that I'm crazy. I really don't mind.
Trevor is psychotic, not psychopathic. Yeah, I could agree with that. But, you know, there's two psychopaths that are in Rockstar games. Micah is a psychopath in Red Dead Redemption 2, and then Dmitry's a psychopath in GTA 4. So, you know, those are two psychopaths that you have in GTA and Red Dead games. Those are, you know, compare Micah and Dmitry to Trevor, and that's an easy way to determine why Trevor is not a psychopath. But
Trevor could be a sociopath or.
Oh, he's a sociopath definitely, but he's not a psychopath.
He
Excited for
could
any
be
new games?
sadistic.
He is a bit sadistic, I guess, but he's not a psychopath. You don't have to be, you know, some psychopaths are sadistic, but not all are.
Yeah.
Thank you, Awesomeness, for the super chat. Excited for any new games shown at E3? Possibly Sniper Elite 5, but probably not going to be shown. Other than that, not really excited for much. Second here. Oh, my mic. 1 second here. Out of my ear. Claude is a true psycho, kills without remorse. Yeah, Claude is a psychopath. I would agree with that. Yeah, Claude is the only playable character that's in a Rockstar title that's a psychopath. I don't think any other Rockstar game's protagonist is a psychopath except Claude. Claude is the only psychopath that I know. Not even Tommy Vercetti or Tony Cipriani are psychopaths. Claude is the only psychopath that I can think of. Yeah, I was running an emulator on SOCOM. I know I used to play Battlefield from what I've heard. How do you feel about 2042? Thank you, Betty. I am excited for it. I'm excited for it. I just hope they don't go crazy with the futuristic stuff, because I don't like robots and all that other stuff, but I am excited for it. It's not that much in the future, it's like 20 years, so it should be fine. But, yeah, I'm excited for it.
The only problematic thing I've seen in this is the jet thing. That you can jump out and back into jets.
Oh yeah, that could be annoying. Maybe you can't really do that in the game. Maybe they just did that for fun. But it's I could see that being annoying. But you know, the one thing that I could see being annoying in Battlefield 2042 is that grappling hook thing. Like, you know the trailer when the guy climbs up the crane with the grappling hook? Like, that could be a problem, because people could have beat, like, I could imagine so many snipers in Battlefield, they'll just use the grappling hook, and they'll just go to the top of all these skyscrapers and just sit up there. That's, like, what I could imagine would happen, and not even play objective or anything. So I could imagine that totally happening. But, Going back to the psychopath thing, the reason that Trevor isn't a psychopath in GTA is simply because he has empathy to a degree. Psychopaths are not able to feel empathy. They're not able to feel for anyone, they're not able to cry for anyone, they're not able to mourn for anyone. They don't care about anyone, really. They don't love anyone. The only people a psychopath really cares about is themselves. The closest thing that a psychopath might feel to, like, love is they might, like, they might admire someone or might prefer having someone around, but it's not like love for, like, most other people or liking somebody for, like, most other people. So, like, that's basically, a psychopath doesn't have any kind of empathy for others.
You can feel, you have some psychopaths who you can say that do have certain kind of love to somebody, just for one reason. You have a psychopath that usually they're killing couples. Not usually. It's rare, but you still have this. It's I think it's a mix of psychopathism. I don't know exactly what, but you do have some psychopaths who are working at usually with family, like brother or cousin.
Well, the thing is, though, psychopaths can come from really good households. That's the thing about it, is, that's the difference, is psychopaths, their upbringing, and sociopaths' upbringing are very different, because a psychopath's upbringing can really be anything. It could be a good upbringing, or it could be a bad upbringing. Sociopaths, usually their upbringings are pretty bad, and pretty nasty, and abusive. But psychopaths, they could come from the most loving family ever, and they'll still be psychopaths, and because a lot of people don't realize that a lot of psychopaths are actually born psychopaths. So when they're born, I'm not a complete expert on it, but their brain is wired like a little bit differently than most other people, and so they lack empathy for others. They just don't really have feelings for others. They don't really care about others, and so, like, something that would get somebody else upset or something that would make somebody cry would not necessarily make a psychopath cry. Like, a family member might die, and somebody will cry over that, but a psychopath won't cry over that. They won't really care. So it's does LC and GTA 4 really look like New York, and is it good to live in New York? Thank you, Gabriel. To a degree, the map is pretty accurate. You have New Jersey on the left side, Alderney, Algonquin in the middle, which is Manhattan, Broker, south, east, that's Brooklyn, Dukes to the south, east also, that's, Queens, and then Bohan, which is, Bronx. But, New York is a good place to, like, visit, not a good place to live, because it's just too expensive.
It's very expensive. I used to live in there. We have Jimmy in the castle in 18 minutes. Do you want to sell your moonshine saucer?
Yeah, we'll help Saucer sells moonshine. Hey, Professional, how are you, Sam?
Yeah, I'll drag you in a second.
Thank you, Young Hebrew. Hey, brother, how do I get on the channel for a conversation interview? Have been wanting to have a dialogue with you for a while. It'll be an honor to have that Discord with you. Well, I don't really use Discord, if that's what you're referring to.
I think they shut down your server.
I just don't. I don't really use much. I just use Twitter and just YouTube. But you could try to talk to me on PlayStation. If you have PlayStation, you could try to talk to me, or even message me on Twitter if you can. But that is the thing. So, like, when somebody tells you that Trevor is a psychopath in GTA 5, the easiest way to tell that he's not a psychopath is that Trevor actually cares about other people. He has feelings. He does care about people, and when that one encounter with his mom, the random encounter with his mom, it's people say it's a hallucination, but regardless of whether his mom is a hallucination, it shows that Trevor loves his mom and cares about what she thinks. Even though his mom is a terrible person, he loves her. And he does care about his friends, so, he cares about, Franklin, he even gets pissed off at Michael for the whole thing, but ends up forgiving him. Trevor cares about his friends, he cares about Franklin, Lamar, Michael. He's not gonna backstab them or do anything like that. He has, his own set of morals, he believes in loyalty a lot. So, that's why, Trevor, he's insane, he's a sociopath, but he's not a psychopath, despite what people think. A psychopath is somebody like Micah or Dmitry. It's somebody that doesn't have really loyalty to anyone else but themselves. They don't care about others. They have no empathy for others. And who does Micah or Dmitry care about? Micah and Dmitry... Micah is basically Dmitry in the Wild West. That's what Micah is. So it's because Dmitry was created before Micah. So it's you know, Micah and Dmitry are pretty much the exact same thing if you think about it. Their personalities are very similar. They're extremely manipulative. You know, they don't care about anyone but themselves, and they'll betray anybody in a moment. If they think they'll get something out of it, they'll screw everyone over. That's Dmitry and Micah are the same thing basically.
I didn't play the randoms on GTA 5. When does Trevor encounter his mom?
It's like later in the game, you go back to his like little trailer and you'll encounter like Trevor's mom, and you know, people say it's a hallucination, but you know, regardless of whether it's a hallucination, it shows that, you know, he does love his mom. So, you know, that's Micah only cares about his revolvers.
I thought of another character who could be psychotic, another a psychopath, and Rubio could be.
Rubio? Yeah, Rubio could be, but you know, we don't have that much material to go off of Rubio. Micah and Dmitry have plenty of material to go off of him. Hey Pro, thanks for messaging me back on Patreon and adding me back. I got the motivation to continue growing my channel thanks to you. No problem, the boy, thank you, man. In the Battlefield trailer, the jet stunt was created in Battlefield 3. Oh, well, I know it was, Kudo, thank you for the super chat, but, like, you know, the question is whether that's actually going to be a feature in the game, because technically you could jump out in the other Battlefield games, Fire and RPG, people did that before, but, the question is whether it's going to be an actual feature. That's what the question is. But here's a fun fact. If you guys got a moment, I made a video a few months ago. You know, it's in my lore video playlist. So if you go to my playlist, there's lore videos playlists, and there's one I made on El Rubio. And El Rubio's great grandfather is actually in Red Dead Redemption 2, in the single player story. That young German kid that is actually El Rubio's great grandfather, and the family business is in gold, which Rubio's family was in into the gold business. But,
I think that's the mission when you go to Dewberry Creek.
Yeah, it's when you get the second camp in the game. That's where you, when you're trying to set up the camp. Yeah, and you save them.
I think it's the third.
But, here's the thing. If you actually go into El Rubio's office, and there's actually a picture of him, and he's wearing the exact same clothes as Micah, if you look, where Micah's like the black jacket and kind of like the red scarf. He's wearing the exact same clothes, and that might indicate that Rubio is a psychopath like Micah, but, you know, that's basically what a psychopath is. A psychopath is somebody that has no empathy for others, you know, doesn't care about anyone but themselves, you know, isn't really gonna cry for someone, isn't gonna love someone, and a lot of psychopaths can be, you know, pretty ruthless. They're very some can be, it depends. It's a case-by-case basis, because not every psychopath is the same. You know, some psychopaths do actually live productive lives and don't do anything bad, but some other psychopaths can, you know, cause a lot of bad things to happen.
Hey, Sasa, what's going on?
Hey, I think I'm stuck, so I'm gonna just kill the game, and I'll just rejoin you, and
Okay.
that'll be that.
Well, you can just join a friend and just hit cancel, you know, that's what a lot of people do.
Okay, I'll try that.
Can you play GTA someday on the live stream? I played GTA a few days ago. I did a charity stream, GTA Liberty City Stories. Did you come by that one?
We only have 13 minutes, I don't think we can just...
What about the characters from other GTA games? You know, I don't think... A lot of the characters are just sociopaths, like, they're not psychopaths. Like, I know psychopaths a bit better than sociopaths, but it's a lot of the characters, a huge amount of them are sociopaths in the GTA world. There are a few psychopaths, like the 3 psychopaths that are in Rockstar games are Claude, the main character in GTA 3. There is, Dmitry in GTA 4. Dmitry is a psychopath. There is Micah in Red Dead Redemption 2. Those are all psychopaths. The governor, psychopath. Negan, sociopath. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I did watch the part with the governor in The Walking Dead, so I could see that, yeah. Negan is definitely not a psychopath in The Walking Dead. He's not, despite what people think. Because, you know, as bad as Negan was, he does show empathy for others, and he does show some morals, and he does have somewhat of a code. So, yeah. And, I mean, that's the thing about Negan, is Negan would not, betray somebody, you know? He wouldn't really do something like that. Even when he was ruthless, he still really wouldn't betray someone. The only time Negan is gonna kill somebody is if they piss him off or they do something bad. That's the only time he's really gonna kill somebody. Like, I mean, you remember that scene in The Walking Dead? It was season 6, I think. It was the finale. It was when Rick was trying to get that stuff for Negan, and then Negan was, like, messing around in Alexandria, and, And what it was at the end, like, Spencer wanted Negan to kill Rick, and he wanted to take over, so he was basically trying to betray Rick. The reason that Negan killed Spencer was because he doesn't like that behavior. He hates that slimy, like, backstabbing behavior. Basically, you know, Negan's whole philosophy was, if you want to kill Rick, you go do it yourself. You don't get somebody else to do it. So that's why he killed Spencer, because he got really mad that Spencer wanted him to kill Rick for him. He thought that Spencer had no guts. Basically, like, ironic because he cut out his guts, but that was the thing about it.
The definition of sociopath is they think that they are the best. They have the ability to lie and not feel anything, not even guilt, and they only care about themselves.
I wouldn't say that a sociopath only cares about themselves, because a sociopath can actually care about close family, but usually that's it. Sociopaths usually just care about close family. You know, they don't really have many friends that they care about. Like, I mean, I think the best example of a sociopath would probably be Tony Soprano. If you ever watch The Sopranos, I think most people can agree he's a sociopath. That's like the probably the best one. Tony Soprano has so many issues. Could Tenpenny be considered a psychopath then? I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, some psychopaths have sadistic behavior. Tenpenny does to an extent, but the thing about it is that Tenpenny doesn't have that cunning, manipulative behavior that Micah and Dmitry have. Like, for instance, you know, Micah and Dmitry are able to put on a different personality. They're able to, you know, act loyal. They're able to act like they got your back. But in reality, they don't. They're just manipulating the whole situation. You know, Tenpenny, you know, he's manipulative to a degree, but he's nowhere near as manipulative as Dmitry or as Micah. They're much more manipulative than Tenpenny is. And the thing about, I think that Dmitry in GTA 4, I think he is the most evil GTA antagonist. Out of all the antagonists in the whole, like, you know, GTA world, I think Dmitry's the most evil one. Dmitry is probably the most evil GTA character of all time. I think he is. Because, the reason he's more evil than Tenpenny is because at least Tenpenny admits to who he is. Dmitry, you know, puts on a fake personality, pretends like he's reasonable, you know, caring, but he's not. He's a disgusting, evil human being.
Are you missing a card, the third card, in the collectibles? You have one over there.
I only have some of the sword cards that I'm missing, but I'm good for now.
Okay.
If you want to start up Posse, we have about 8 or 9 minutes until King of the Castle. We could probably fit in a quick bounty if you wanted to do one before then, or whatever you want to do.
But, I have a whole video coming out on Dmitry, you know, explaining, you know, his motivations and, you know, why he betrays Nico and all the other stuff. There's a really good analysis I have on him coming up. It'll be a really good one, you know, explaining everything. Dmitry's last name describes who he is. Yeah, and that's the thing about it is Dmitry's last name, Rascalov, is, you know, it's a Russian version of Rascal. But Rascal is somebody that you can't trust. That's what a rascal is. So, you know, and the thing is, a lot of characters in the GTA world that actually betray you, their names actually have a hidden meaning that they're gonna betray you. Like Big Smoke, for instance, his initials are BS. You know, that's what his initials are. So that's a hint that Big Smoke's not to be trusted. There's Dmitry Rascalov, which Rascal, and then there's Brian in The Lost and Damned. How does Brian's name indicate that he's gonna do something bad? What are his initials? Brian Jeremy. What are those initials? So it's, do you want to see Sony to double the PlayStation Plus price to $120 a year, just how Microsoft did to Xbox Live and Gold? No. Why would anybody want to see the price doubled? Thank you for the super chat, though, Sam. But, here's the thing about it is Aiden Pearce a psychopath? No. Aiden Pearce is nowhere near a psychopath. No. Aiden Pearce isn't even a sociopath. He's not. No. No. I don't know where you get that idea, but Aiden Pearce is not a sociopath. I mean, or even a psychopath by any means. Aiden Pearce does suffer from some psychological issues. I'm not a psychologist by any means, but he's definitely not a sociopath or a psychopath. You know, he's suffering from trauma, or maybe you could even argue maybe it's a form of PTSD. You know, I'm not a psychologist, but that's, you know, maybe you could argue that, because he lost his he lost his niece, and he blamed himself for it, and he feels that guilt constantly in the back of his head. And also, you know, Aiden Pearce, you know, he knows he clearly knows the difference between right and wrong, and he cares about it. A psychopath does know the difference between right and wrong. Like, a lot of people think they don't know, but they do know, or at least they know what society understands it to be right and wrong. They just don't care. But Aiden Pearce, you know, Aiden Pearce stands up for the weak. He kills criminals. You know, he's basically a modern day Batman. The only difference between Batman and Aiden Pearce is that Aiden Pearce is gonna kill criminals. So like when Aiden Pearce catches them, he's gonna kill them. Batman is just gonna imprison them. That's the difference between Aiden Pearce and Batman. Batman doesn't really kill. Aiden Pearce does. But that's, you know, that's the difference. Aiden Pearce is basically just a modern day Batman if you think about it. I never understood, you know, I didn't understand why people hated Aiden Pearce so much, because I thought he was actually a great character, because, you have these idiot reviewers that, you know, whenever they want a character in a game, they constantly, like, you know, they want a character that constantly makes stupid jokes every few minutes, is constantly laughing, humorous. You know, I don't want that in a character, you know, I want a character that has an interesting story, not a character that's constantly trying to be funny every few minutes. How pissed off PlayStation and PC community was in 2008 when Microsoft paid Rockstar to have GTA episodes from Liberty City exclusive for a year. A lot of people were really pissed about that, and I still haven't forgiven Rockstar for that, even though that's been 13 years. And that's the thing is, you know, exclusives are a problem for every console. They're not unique to just one specific console, but, you know, a lot of times Xbox players, they act like that. They act like Sony are the only ones who are constantly paying for exclusives. That's not true. When I was a teenager and growing up, Xbox had all the exclusives when I was growing up. And now Sony's doing it back to Microsoft. And you could argue that Sony is doing it because Microsoft did it in the first place. I'm not saying it's right, but that's, you know, that is why, you know, Sony is doing it now. And I'll tell you something. Rockstar owes PlayStation an apology today, even for the whole, the 2008 thing, what they did. Because, I'll tell you this. Rockstar, I remember, they were interviewed about PlayStation not getting the episodes from Liberty City for a year. So, like, you guys see me playing The Lost and Damned on GTA 4 right now. The Lost and Damned was delayed a full year on PlayStation. So it didn't come out for PS3 for a full year, because Microsoft paid Rockstar millions of dollars to delay The Lost and Damned and The Ballad. And so PlayStation didn't get that for a year. When Rockstar was actually interviewed about it, I remember the interview, they actually said in the interview, they said, PlayStation, please stay with us. You guys have Agent. That's what they said. You guys have an exclusive game we're going to bring for you, Agent. And they said Agent is going to be an exclusive Cold War spy game that's only going to be on the PS3. Well, never came out on the PS3, never came out on the PS4. Agent is probably not even in development now, so they owe PlayStation a big apology for that, for hyping them up with the whole Agent thing and not even delivering on it. They said, oh, you guys got Agent, don't worry, Agent never came out. So, you know, I'm going to say screw Rockstar in that regard. My top 3 favorite Assassin's Creed games? Assassin's Creed 1, Assassin's Creed 2, and Assassin's Creed Rogue. What do you think of the Watch Dogs Legion Bloodline DLC? It's going to be interesting. I saw it where Aiden's going to be fighting Wrench. But I think that it's going to be... What I think is going to happen is I think Wrench and Aiden are going to end up teaming up. That's at least what I think is going to happen. So, do you think that Dmitry betrayed Bulgarin? No. Dmitry is that type of person that manipulates others, and Dmitry, basically what he does is he manipulates others and he uses them, and when he doesn't need them anymore, he betrays them and gets rid of them. And that's exactly why he betrayed Nico. That's why he betrayed Faustin. He used Faustin, you know, to get close to him, to take over his organization. When he didn't need Faustin anymore and he took over his mafia, he got rid of him. When he didn't need Nico anymore, he tried to get rid of Nico. And when he used Pegorino for the deal, he got rid of Pegorino if you do the deal ending, because he didn't need him anymore. You know, that's with Dmitry.
Turn on auto aim. We have King in the Castle in 2 minutes.
King in the Castle in 2 minutes. Okay. Let me just plug my other PlayStation controller into charge, because this one's about to die. So I'll have the other one ready when this one dies. But, you know, I don't think that, you know, a lot of the people that, you know, look at Dmitry, you know, a lot of people, you know, hate Dmitry, and I really hate Dmitry too, in GTA 4, but, you know, Dmitry is my favorite antagonist in the GTA games, even though, you know, I hate him so much, but that's the reason he's a good character to hate. You know, Dmitry is Micah, you know, if you think about it. But it's, in regards to Dmitry, you know, if you look closely at him, I don't think people realize how evil that guy is. That guy is so evil. He is, such a terrible person. And, you know, if you look deep inside Dmitry, like you look deep inside him, there's nothing there. There isn't. Like, there's no compassion, no love, no likes, there's not even 1% of good in that guy. It's just all pure evil if you look inside him. It's absolute pure evil. That's, what Dmitry is. He is one of the worst human beings ever in a video game. And in regards to, you know, the Bulgarin thing, why doesn't he betray Bulgarin? The reason that Dmitry doesn't betray Bulgarin is because he can't. Bulgarin is I'm pretty sure Bulgarin is well aware of how Dmitry betrays people, and Bulgarin knows that Dmitry's not going to try anything on him, because Bulgarin's much stronger than Dmitry. He has much more manpower, so if Dmitry tried something, Bulgarin had him killed easily. So it's, you know, that's why Dmitry only betrays people that he knows he can betray, and take advantage of them. So that's,
You're supposed to get the invitation. Okay, you just got it. Never mind.
The reason why Microsoft started with exclusives is because they want more people to buy an Xbox. Sure, but you know, Sony can make that exact same argument. You know, doesn't make it right. Thank you for the super chat, though, Sam. I do appreciate it. What is your opinion on Ogata and Golden Kamuy? Yeah, that was Ogata is actually my favorite character in that show besides Sugimoto. And I like him because he's a bit of a mysterious character, and I like him also that he's an expert marksman. So that's what I like about him, that he can shoot really well. And the thing is, you know, at that time, the term, you know, when the Golden Kamuy, that takes place in, like, 1906, that's, like, you know, it's, like, you know, almost a decade before World War I. And the term sniper wasn't really used back then. You know, they had marksman. You know, that was the term they used back then, but he's pretty much a sniper. But, you know, when you're probably asking me what I think of him, do I think he's a psychopath? He's more, I would say he's more of a sociopath, because, like I said, psychopaths, you know, they're usually born psychopaths. You know, they can come from a loving family. Their brains are just developed a little bit differently. But, you know, if you look about Ogata's childhood in that show, you know, his father abandoned him. His father abandoned him and his mother. His mother went crazy, basically, just trying to, hoping that his father would come back, constantly cooking the same stew that his father, liked, but, he never came back. And then, you know, he even, like, shot a duck and brought it home, hoping that his mother would make something else besides the monkfish stew, but she wouldn't, and so he ended up poisoning his mother, because he couldn't take it anymore. And then what happened was the whole reason he poisoned his mother was because he wanted to see whether his father would actually come to the funeral, and his father didn't come to the funeral. And then it was really messed up with his brother. He killed his half-brother because he wanted to see if his father would love him if he killed his half-brother, and his father still didn't love him. So, you know, he is a bit of a sociopath. He doesn't really I'm not a complete expert on this stuff, but I wouldn't say he's a complete psychopath. You know, he does have those psychopath traits in him, but how crazy would have been if Microsoft bought Nintendo? Would be a bit crazy. Thank you, Sam. Do you think Vladimir Makarov is pure evil for Modern Warfare? Yes, he is. Makarov is pure evil, 100%. Do you think Evan Moss is a sociopath? No, Evan Moss is just annoying.
My server just crashed and going back into...
I should probably focus on PvP here. Let's see here. Which female character is the worst, Ashley or Maria? Ashley. You think Dutch is a sociopath? I mean... I don't know, really. Dutch is a very complicated character. And it's, you know, it's hard to determine whether, It's hard to determine whether Dutch changed or whether he was always that person. But, you know, my theory on Dutch is, I think, like, the personality that you saw at the end of Red Dead, like, when Dutch started going crazy at the end of Red Dead Redemption 2, you know, my theory, and I made a lore video on this, like, you know, was Dutch always a good person or did he change? You know, my theory on this is that Dutch was the crazy person that you saw at the end of Red Dead Redemption. That was always Dutch. That was always him. He just hid that. He never, you know, exposed that. But as things, you know, as things didn't start going the way he wanted them to, and things started going bad, you saw the real Dutch start to come out. So that's, you know, that's my interpretation of it. That's what I think in regards to Dutch. Now, is Dutch, you know, a psychopath? You know, I don't know, because a psychopath would not care about anyone else. You know, Dutch does seem like he cares about people, but a lot of it could be manipulation, which psychopaths do manipulate a lot. So, I don't know. But I'll tell you, though, if you're loyal to Dutch, he'll kind of have your back, but if you question him in the slightest, he'll screw you over instantly. You know, that's what happened to Arthur at the end of Red Dead. Remember that scene where he just leaves Arthur in the warehouse about to die? And, you know, the Native American tribe that was, you know, that helped Dutch and the gang near the end of the game, Dutch was using them. You know, he was just using them just so that they could create a diversion so that they could escape. So that Dutch and his gang could escape. That was the whole thing. He basically had that tribe start a war with the U.S. government, and Dutch knew what the end result was going to be, that they were going to get wiped out, but he didn't care. He used them, so, you know, he definitely has some psychopathic traits to him. You know, that is what a psychopath would do, something like that.
I do believe that Dutch was crazy, because when you think about it, I think he truly believed himself when he said one last job, or be loyal to me and I'll help you with whatever you need.
Oh, what the? Damn.
Just let me know when you're done.
That's weird, I only have one pistol now, I don't know why.
Let me know when you're done. I'll join back in the session. My server crashed.
Okay. Dmitry is evil because he betrays anyone, including his best friend, and Nico burns down Roman's apartment, taking down his business and the money, and he betrays Pegorino and kills anyone. Yeah, Dmitry, he will betray anyone. He doesn't care about anyone. You know, who does Dmitry care about? No one. You know, he doesn't care about anyone. He's just, you know, he's a sick, evil person. Why don't I keep running out of Deadeye? This guy is still alive? I don't know what he's hoping, somebody revives him or something. Consider Avon Hertz a psychopath? I really don't even want to talk about that DLC, to tell you the truth, because I didn't even like the Doomsday Heist that much. I know, you know, some people might say, you didn't like Doomsday? Not really. I thought it was kind of ridiculous. Like, some of the vehicles I liked, but, like, the story, it was a bit ridiculous. I just wasn't that much of a fan of it.
Aiden Pearce wasn't a psychopath, it was just annoying.
Yeah, he was more of an annoying. Aiden Pearce was definitely manipulative, but he was just annoying. There's a guy over here. Got him. Are GTA and Red Dead Redemption in the same universe? I don't know. The El Rubio's great-grandfather might prove that they are. Damn, this horse, get out of here. You gotta be kidding me. Damn, die. Okay, that was a lot of shots. I'm like one of the few people in this game that actually uses the Litchfield repeater. Like, no one else uses the Litchfield.
Actually, it's a beast with point ammo.
I guess, yeah, it does mention it does mention New York, I think, as well, so it's... Great. There we go, good work, team. Doomsday Heist was a great DLC gameplay-wise. Story-wise, was a disaster, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, the whole plot of the Doomsday Heist, what is the whole plot of the Doomsday Heist? It's kind of ridiculous. It's like, you know, it's literally, the whole plot of it is, it's like Saints Row even to the extreme. Like, the whole plot of it is that you're trying to stop some type of nuclear terrorist disaster, and this rich tech billionaire, you know, and his robot AI help you out, and then you get betrayed, and you find out that the Russians are the good guys, and then you have to fight this guy and his clone army, which comes out of nowhere, and then you gotta stop nuclear missiles from destroying the world. Like, I mean, the whole story, it's so ridiculous. And that's the thing about it is, I'll tell you, though, that, like, I can't, like... I look at the story in the Doomsday Heist, and when I look at the story in the Doomsday Heist, you know, I think to myself, like, this is the same universe as GTA 4. Like, you guys see me playing GTA 4, and you see how different that game is. The story is so much different in GTA 4 than the story in GTA 5. Like, the story in GTA 4 is actually serious, really dark criminal underworld storyline, both. In The Lost and Damned has a serious story, GTA 4 is a serious story, Ballad has a serious story. Ballad's a little bit more action, but it's still a serious story. And yet, you know, then you have, like, GTA Online, you have, like, this whole nuclear missile clone army apocalypse thing, and you're like, this is the same universe as GTA 4? Really? You're like, it's, come on. I don't know what they were thinking with that. Well, I think what Rockstar was making fun of with the Russians in Doomsday is that there's so many video games where the Russians are the bad guys, like it's so overdone. And I think what they were making fun of is they were making fun of that the Russians were actually looked like the bad guys, but they were actually the good guys in that situation. I think that's at least what they were making fun of with Doomsday. Are these people hostile over here, or are they friendly? Okay, I'm not even going here. Oh, great.
Please, no. I don't need them at all.
Pro, could you remove one persistent member? We still have a slot, but it's
Sure.
the posse's full.
Wait, are we finished? Yeah.
Come on, take him out. The Lord don't go easy on shooters.
How did you get into Golden Kamuy? Called Kamuy? I keep pronouncing it wrong. Well, what I was doing is I was looking up, like, historical animes. Like, I was looking up, like, animes that, took place in historical times and stuff like that. Like, usually when I'll watch anime, but usually, when I watch it, I like, stuff that's, like, not sci-fi or magic or, it's just, I usually like to watch, like, historical stuff or, like, modern stuff, like, that's usually what I watch. And I was looking up, like, historical ones, and I found, like, Golden Kamuy, which is, it is a kind of a historical anime. It takes place in the aftermath of the Russo-Japanese War. My great-great-grandfather or my great-grandfather, it was on my father's side, I know. He fought in the Russo-Japanese War, so that war, he fought in that war. My great-great-grandfather, I gotta ask my dad if it was my great-grandfather or my great-great-grandfather. It was like a distant relative, I know, it was somebody in my family that fought in the Russo-Japanese War. So that war was like 1904, 1905, it was like 10 years before World War I. But that was, the show is, in the aftermath of that war. And I can relate a lot to that show. Like, that show, like, I can relate a lot to it, because I know the history and the stuff, and, my ancestor, though, he wasn't Russian. My ancestor was Polish. But that's the thing, is, in the Russo-Japanese War, a lot of Poles were actually drafted, because the largest chunk of Poland was actually occupied by Russia, and so what the Russians did was they actually just drafted a bunch of Polish people and just sent them to, like, the very far east to fight the Japanese, so that actually happened. And there was no good guys in that war. Both the Japanese and the Russians were the bad guys. Both sides were bad. They both had, like, bad ambitions. Like, Russia's ambition was to basically, they wanted Korea to be their sphere of influence, and Japan wanted Korea to be their sphere of influence. So both of them were imperialists. They were both empires, just trying to, abuse Korea. They were trying to subjugate Korea, both of them. The thing about it is that in Golden Kamuy, one thing that I was a bit impressed by, and the guy that was asking me in the comments is, they have, like, Polish people in that show. They're not, I should say they're more ancestors, like relatives of Polish people, because they were, born of sometime later. But their their parents and grandparents were Polish, and it's like the very far east of Russia, like all the way in Siberia. And that was actually a thing. So, like, there was actually, Polish people that are, like, in the very far east of Russia. And the reason that happened is because the Tsar, the Russian king, when there was a lot of people in Poland that didn't agree with the Russian king, he would actually deport them to the very far east of Russia, so, like, very, very far east. So that's why, one of the main characters in Golden Kamuy, his father was actually Polish. And that's, like, even though that's, like, near Japan, very far east, like, Russian Siberia, that's actually why. So, like, people might be confused. Why are there Polish people all the way out far east in Russia? It's because the Russian king was, like, deporting a lot of Polish people to the very far east, so that actually happened. And that's what a lot of people don't understand about the Russian king was a really bad guy, like he was. I'm not saying the communists were bad people too, but the Russian king was also a really bad guy. So that's what a lot of people don't understand about that time period. But let me go over to let me get out of this area here. And here's the thing. Here's the thing that a lot of people don't know about. The Soviets were actually not the ones who built the first gulags. Do you know who was actually the ones who built the first gulags? The Russian king, the Tsar. The monarchists were actually the ones who built the first gulags. The communists built the most amount of gulags, so they built way more gulags than the monarchists. But the monarchists were actually the ones who built the first ones. The gulags were basically a form that the Russian king would deport people to these work camps, people that he didn't like. And then when the communists took power, especially under Stalin's time, Stalin, you know, he built so many more. And, you know, Stalin was a psycho, so Stalin just, you know, sent so many people to these work camps. But they started under the Russian king. They didn't start under the Soviet Union. The Soviets were just the ones who expanded the network, but they started under the Russian king. That's what a lot of people don't know about. Golden Kamuy is Master Chef, but in the wilderness, with how much detail they go into with food. I like to think of it as the Wild West of Japan, that show, so it's a good one. Thank you, Anomalous, and thank you, Tyler. Is Perseus from Black Ops Cold War a real guy? Yes, he was a real person, despite, you know, what people think. And, you know, there's a debate on whether he was a real person, or at least he was a theory. The name Perseus existed in the 80s, so, people, let me see here, let me look at my moonshine. The former KGB claimed that Perseus was a real person, so I don't think they really have a reason to lie, especially the fact that the Cold War ended. But Perseus in real life was actually an American, so he wasn't like a Russian like they had in the in Cold War, in Black Ops Cold War. But
Very well, but this could be cheaper. Yes, this is a good flavor. Now all it needs is some time.
okay. And look at dailies here. Moonshiner. Change decor. Drink own strong moonshine. Okay, this is easy.
You have for Madam Nazal, you have a pretty easy one. You need to
Oh, it's
drink
weak moonshine still? I guess I got to wait till it becomes strong.
You can do an easy daily challenge that you drink a collectible alcohol.
Moonshiner store, let's see here.
Okay then.
Bar decoration, let's see here.
Just change your photos.
Do I watch Golden Kamuy in Japanese subtitles or English dub? I watch the English dub. I usually watch English dub on anime, and the reason is because, you know, usually when I'm watching anime, it's like late at night, and so I'm trying to fall asleep, and so like I'll be watching that, and I don't really want to focus that much on reading the subtitles. But, you know, one show that I'm watching that's, you know, all Japanese with subtitles is Moriarty the Patriot. If you like Golden Kamuy, check out Moriarty the Patriot. I think you'll like that one too. That one's also really good.
I have a moonshine seal already.
Oh, you have a moonshine seal? Okay, we can help you out with that. No problem. Let me
Just
disband
finish
here.
yours first.
Let me start your posse now. Just rejoin it. Would you play Hitman again? Yeah, I'll get back when I get back to when I get back to the Midwest. I'll get back into Hitman. I don't have my suit on me right now, so I can't wear that. But I'll get back into it. Yeah. Have I watched Demon Slayer? Yes, I did watch Demon Slayer. I watched I didn't get very far into it. Like, I watched, like, you know, a bit of it. I didn't see the movie, but I'm not gonna see the movie until I finish the show. But, like, I got up to the part where, like, you know, Tanjiro gets into the city, and he's, like, eating from, like, a bowl, like, some soup or something. I don't remember what he was eating, noodles or something. He was eating something. And then he meets, like, that bad, like, the main bad demon guy. I'm trying to remember the guy's name. And then he turns, like, one of the people in the crowd into a demon. And then Tanjiro tries to get the guy under control. That's what I got up to. It's not far in the show. So that was, like, where I got up to. Have you watched Naruto? I watched Naruto when I was a kid, but to tell you the truth, I didn't really get into it, and I didn't really like it that much. I just didn't like it that much, you know. I know some people might say, how did you didn't like it? I just never got into it. Yes, I watched a new Bloodline story DLC. When is GTA The Lost and Damned coming? Later today, there'll be another part up.
YouTube Marcus and Brandon, if you're watching this, please join my forces. Should I could start?
Oh, okay. Hang on 1 second here. I'm gonna have to get my other controller now because this one just the controller died like I thought it would.
Is everybody in the cabin?
Okay, 1 moment here, everyone. Change this to...
Tell me when you're ready to so I can start the sale.
Okay, I'm ready whenever you are.
Cold Dead Hands in 20 minutes.
But the guy that was asking me about the Russo-Japanese War and Golden Kamuy, I forgot to mention one thing. So my ancestor that actually fought in the Russo-Japanese War, what ended up happening to him? Did he survive? From what I heard, from what my father told me, he did survive, but his health deteriorated really badly after the war because my great-great-grandfather that fought in the Russo-Japanese War, he surrendered. And so he was a prisoner of... The Japanese had him as a prisoner of war, and the Japanese did not treat prisoners really well, and so his health really deteriorated while he was a prisoner of war. And he ended up surviving, you know, until after the war, but, you know, his health was just so destroyed that he never even made a full recovery. So, you know, he didn't do well in those, you know, he didn't do well under that. I'm driving here, but, you know, and that was the thing, you know, a lot of Polish people, when they were actually sent to, like, to the front line against the Japanese, they surrendered. And it was because, if you think about it, really, it was like Poland was under occupation by the Russian Empire. They were, and they were, basically, they were controlling their lands, you know, they were, abusing them, because the Russian Empire had, like, a policy of, Russification, where basically, what they did was, because Poland was largely a Catholic, you know, country, and Russia was, Eastern Orthodox, and what the Russian Empire tried to do is they tried to make Catholicism illegal. They closed down, like, a lot of churches. They even went as far as to actually ban the Polish language, so people, kids were not, parents were not able to teach their kids the Polish language. And if the parents were actually caught doing that, they could actually be deported to work camps in, like, the very far east of Russia. So they were just basically trying to destroy Poland. The Russian Empire was doing this. And so, when you think about it, you know, not only they're subjugating your lands, they're destroying your country. Now they're drafting you and having you fight a war on the other side of the world. So, like, a lot of Polish people, they didn't even want to fight that war. So, like, they surrendered to the Japanese right away because what they were basically doing is they were fighting for their oppressors. That's what they were doing. So that's why they surrendered right away to the Japanese. And the Japanese didn't treat them really well. The Japanese, you know, treated prisoners of war really badly. So, but you know, a lot of people in Poland were actually happy when Russia lost that war. Against Japan, because Russia was humiliated in that war. You know, the Japanese weren't good guys in that war. Both the Russians and the Japanese were bad guys. But, you know, a lot of people in Poland were particularly happy when Russia lost that war.
You know that in World War II, a lot of Polish pilots went from Poland to the UK.
Oh yeah, a lot of Polish people were pro ace pilots during yeah, and they flew for the British. That was
the sad thing, the sad part is that after the war, those people were forgotten.
Yeah. And the unfortunate thing about it is that actually a lot of those pilots actually got deported to Poland after World War II. A lot of the Polish pilots. So the British government actually deported some of those Polish pilots back to Poland, and that was actually really bad. And the reason that it was really bad is because Poland became a communist dictatorship after World War II, and a lot of those pilots were actually really anti-communists. And so a lot of those pilots ended up getting killed or imprisoned when they got deported back to Poland.
I'm interested to expand my posse. Plus, you have the Red Baron, which his tombstone was
I didn't
moved,
mod Callie. I earned all this money and gold that I have in the game. I earned this. I didn't mod it. What do I think of Demon Slayer? I mean, it's an interesting, show. I like it. I didn't get into it as much as Golden Kamuy, but I want to finish Moriarty the Patriot. But like, look up Moriarty the Patriot. That's actually a really good one. I like that one a lot. That's a good anime.
Brandon, if you want to do another trader sale, Brandon has one available. But we also have
Cold
Dead Hands in about 15 minutes. Yeah.
You have a magician sale, don't you, Sasa?
Well, it didn't work out last time, and it's pretty buggy for me.
Okay. Plus, you know that the Red Baron, the ace pilot who in World War One shut down like 60 aircrafts. His tombstone was actually moved near the wall, near the Germany wall, and his tombstone saved a lot of lives from sniper fire of the Soviets.
You know something crazy about World War I pilots? Parachutes were actually developed years before World War I even happened. They were developed mainly for balloons, so like when things in balloons went bad, people could jump from balloons and parachute to safety. But the thing about it is that the majority of pilots in World War I didn't have parachutes. Why? It's not that they were too expensive. It's that the stupid generals at the time, so like a lot of the generals in World War I, they were like aristocratic old men, like in their 70s. And so basically they thought that parachuting was a form of cowardice. So they basically thought that it was cowardly to jump from your plane. They believed that you were supposed to fight till the end. And then when they started losing so many pilots, like halfway through the war, they're like, you know what, maybe we should actually give our pilots parachutes. How crazy is it that the Red Baron, Germany's like best pilot in World War I, didn't even have a parachute? Pro, I like that you have intelligence and don't, well, thank you, Alex.
You know that, the World War One.
Well, I don't know what you mean, Alex, by your comment, but thank you, for the super chat. I don't know.
World War One planes are slower than a four-door sedan of today.
What?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. Those planes are really slow. Plus, you have a German bomber named Gotha, which was the Queen Elizabeth II. It was the last name. And after the bombing that occurred in London, they changed the family name from Gotha to Windsor.
Wait, when is Cold Dead Hand starting, or did I miss it?
In 12 minutes.
12 minutes.
Yeah, 12 minutes. If you want to start up your posse, we can join you.
I'm getting reefed.
Okay, let me start my posse here.
What's up with the griefers today? Plenty of them.
What is your opinion on Gorbachev? I can't really form a concrete opinion because I'm not Russian. You know, from what I read about Gorbachev, and, you know, from what I know, Gorbachev is a very controversial figure. Like, he is, like, in the West, generally most people in the West like him, but in Russia, it's like half of the population hates him and considers him a traitor, and, like, the other half, you know, like him, and maybe there's, like, people that are kind of neutral on it. But, you know, I think that, you know, Gorbachev, I don't think that he's treated fairly in a lot of the things, because people blame him for, like, the collapse of the Soviet Union, but what they don't understand is that Gorbachev actually tried his best to actually stop the Soviet Union from collapsing. That's not what he wanted. Like, people say that Gorbachev wanted the USSR to fall. No, he didn't. He tried his absolute best to stop it from collapsing. Now, the question is, did he contribute to the fall of the Soviet Union? No. I'm not sure on that, but for what I can tell you is he tried his best to stop it from happening, you know, from what I've seen.
When you think
what
about
are these
it,
guys?
like,
Are these guys griefers or something? What's going on?
I don't know. They just keep griefing me.
I let him kill me, and just to see if he would, and I parlayed him.
Okay, I just parlayed him. Yeah. But, you know, the thing is, though, the Soviet Union, I think, would have collapsed regardless of what leader was in power. I think it was you know, a ticking
they
time
ran
bomb.
out of money.
The thing was, they ran out of money, and they just, the whole thing, it's ironic that a communist country that's so against money, it runs out of money. That's how it ends up collapsing, but you know, something, the Chernobyl disaster contributed to it a lot. Like, a lot of people don't talk about that. Chernobyl, you know, that wasn't really Gorbachev's fault. You know, that was his predecessors who designed those reactors.
No, but he was the head of state media, I think, in that sense, or something like that. He had he had something to do with the disaster, and the way that they treated him. It took them 3 days to send scientists to Chernobyl.
Well, I don't know. I'm not certain on that. Did Gorbachev know about the extent of the disaster on the first day? I don't know if he knew about that, or if he did.
No, because of the what's his name, the director of the power station. They said it was only 3.4.
I know that the people that were directly the people that were on the scene that were directly involved, like, they tried to cover it up at first. They tried to pretend like it wasn't this, you know, this big thing when it was. But I don't know if Gorbachev was in on the cover-up. I don't know if he was. Maybe somebody in the comments knows. But but the actual disaster itself, that wasn't Gorbachev's fault. Like, what the whole thing blew up the reactor, that wasn't his fault. And Gorbachev didn't really know much about reactors. I mean, most leaders don't. So, like, you can't you can't really blame him for, like, the whole Chernobyl. If anything, the idiots in the government who designed the reactors, those are the people who were at fault.
No, actually, the people who design the reactors, it's not their fault. The fault is on the idea. It's not an idea. It's the execution of communism itself, because the entire media thing, you know, they weren't allowed to say that they build a bioreactor that it has a flaw, because it's counted as an offense in the Soviet system.
But you know what I'll say is probably the biggest cause of the collapse of the Soviet Union. It's something that's not even Gorbachev's fault. It's their stupid war in Afghanistan. That's what it was. The Soviet-Afghan war. That was probably, like, the biggest contribution to the fall of the Soviet Union, because Russia spent 10 years, or the USSR spent 10 years in Afghanistan, and they got absolutely nowhere. They got absolutely nowhere in Afghanistan, and it went really bad for them. They lost a lot of guys there. They spent so much money there. And the thing is, Gorbachev wasn't the one. Gorbachev wasn't the one who. But wait, Gorbachev wasn't the one who started the war. It was Brezhnev who started the Soviet-Afghan war. He was the one who sent troops into Afghanistan. Gorbachev took over when there was already troops in Afghanistan. And when Gorbachev actually started pulling troops out of Afghanistan, the same people who actually blamed him for the collapse of the Soviet Union were the same people who wanted to keep the troops in Afghanistan. So Gorbachev was trying to stop the war in Afghanistan, but the hardcore Soviet communist elite were trying to stop him from doing that. If the Oppressor Mark III ever came... Wait, what? I'm sorry, Jonathan, continue?
Not a lot of people know that, but the reason that the war in Afghanistan took so long, both for the US and both for Russia, is because the U.S. supplied the weapons and ammunition to.
Oh yeah, the U.S.
to
gave
Mujahideen.
the U.S. gave the insurgents in Afghanistan. They gave them like they gave them Stinger
Stinger
missiles.
missiles.
Which, those were really advanced at the time, and the Russian helicopters they had no flares or countermeasures to stop that, and that's what.
But the Mi-24 behind is what the French call it. It was a very resistant helicopter. A lot of times that they gone down because of Stinger missiles. The pilots came out without almost any damage. It's a very good helicopter. They're also very versatile, which is very rare in the military aviation world.
If the Oppressor of Mark Draver came out, what do you think it would do? I think it would destroy GT Online even more. Thank you, bro, for the super chat.
No, I recently saw a meme about the community wanted a Fagio Mark III.
Just Russia? No, I mean, it's the Soviet Union, so the Soviet Union was comprised of a bunch of countries. Sometimes I say Russia by accident, because, it's but I'm trying to say Soviet Union more. But it's, I really miss the GTA 5 streams. Well, my reply to you would be, I'm sad that you won't give my other content a try, Don't insult GTA 5 Pro. I can insult whatever game I feel like insulting. I spent, I don't mean to sound rude, but I bet I played GTA 5 more than you. I have like over a full year played on the game of like 400 days, so I think I can say what I want to say about GTA 5. If I want to say the Oppressor Mark II is garbage, I'm going to say the Oppressor Mark II is garbage. Just deliver the target then. We'll just deliver them, get this over with.
Yeah,
That's
actually,
5 minutes
there's
until the
you
next
know,
event.
in the end, you could, there was, what a lot of people don't talk about in regards to Gorbachev, there was actually a referendum in the Soviet Union, and it was like, do you want to keep the Soviet Union as a country, or do you want it to, like, go its separate ways? And the thing is, the vast majority of people actually voted to preserve the Soviet Union, and there was actually, the Central Asian countries, particularly, and Belarus and Ukraine, I think they also voted to keep the Soviet Union, but the Baltic countries were really against preserving the Soviet Union, and it's because the Baltic countries, they actually got taken over by Russia at one point, or Soviet Union, that's why. Despite the referendum actually happening, what happened was like a bunch of like coup plotters, so there was like a bunch of these communist elite that were trying to do a coup, and so they placed Gorbachev on house arrest, and they tried to do a coup, and their coup failed miserably. And then right after that, after the coup, basically like all the other countries that were basically like, you know what, screw this, we're declaring independence, and that's, how the Soviet Union basically collapsed. It was over at that point, so like,
you know that the Romanian president, I forgot his name, he spit on Gorbachev.
He what?
He spit on Gorbachev.
I didn't know about that, but yeah, I mean, Gorbachev's a complicated person, but I don't think, it's fair when people throw the whole blame on him in Russia and just say, he was responsible for the whole collapse. I don't think that was fair to him.
He wasn't. I believe it's the entire nuke thing, because you had them in the early 90s and late 80s. The USSR produced so many ballistic missiles and nukes that they just ran out of money. And also there was the Chernobyl disaster that took out the entire liquid nitrogen in the country. Which was called, it was an industry that gave them a lot of money.
The problem with the Soviet Union is that the Soviet Union spent more, they spent more percentage-wise on the military than the US did. People think that today America is the country that spends the most really on the military, but, during the Cold War, the Soviets were spending way more, and they eventually ran out of money. What was it? The Soviets had way more missiles than the US. The US had a lot of missiles during the Cold War, but the Soviets had way more missiles. So you can just go on Google and just look up comparison of Soviet and American missiles, and you'll see the Soviets just had so many more missiles. So they were just
the Russian, the USSR had the Tsar bomb, which was a 50 megaton bomb. Just in comparison, in the entire World War II, on Europe they were dropped 2.3 megatons of bombs. So basically, they made like
the next part of Lost and Damned will be up tonight. and
they
I'm not
basically made.
yeah, but yeah, you're right.
They made.
They spend a lot of money on weapons, and then near the end of the Cold War in the 1980s, the U.S. actually started spending a lot more on the military in the 1980s, and they did that to actually bait the Soviets into a trap, and the Soviets fell for it. So the U.S. knew the Soviets were in a deep war in Afghanistan. They knew that they were going bankrupt because of Chernobyl. And so the U.S. government just said, you know what, let's start spending a ton of money on the military and let's see what the Soviet reaction would be. And they basically baited the Soviets into a trap, and what they wanted the Soviets to do was start spending money on the military. And the Soviets did that. So when the U.S. started spending more money in the military, the Soviets started spending more money in the military. And their Chernobyl problems, their Afghanistan problems, just basically bankrupted it, and the whole thing just collapsed, ran out of money. Like I said, it's ironic. It's ironic. A country that's a country that's against money, a communist country that's against money, ends up collapsing because they ran out of money. You know, it's kind of ironic.
Yeah. But when you think about it, the idea of communism is actually kind of nice. Like, everybody's equal.
No, it is. You know, everyone pretty much believes in equality, but the whole concept of it doesn't work. You know, it's every single time it's implemented, it's a disaster. It's you know, it's always an authoritarian state every single time, and you have those people out there that say, oh, that wasn't real communism, but every single time, every single communist country is a disaster. People can't name me one successful communist country. The only communist country that did actually better than other countries is Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia was like the only communist country that did, you know, better than other communist countries, but that was, you know, because they were more open to other Western countries. They traded and dealt with Western countries. But every single other communist country is a disaster. And I'll tell you something. People in the Soviet Union could have had much better lives had their government not been spending so much money on weapons and maybe actually tried to improve their lives. Because, you know, my parents grew up under communism, and, you know, they had to wait years to get an apartment. So, like, you couldn't just move simply from place to place. You couldn't move that. You had to get special permission from the government, and you had to wait years to get a proper apartment and years to get a car. Like, you would be on a queue to get a car. So, like, imagine that. Imagine being in a queue in a line to get a car, and the government tells you, okay, you can get a car 3 years from now. Imagine that. Like, that is what it was like.
Most of the problem in communism, it was the execution itself, because the leaders took everything to themselves and let the people live in a three-room apartment, even if you're 9 people.
Well, here in the States, we're in a queue to get PS5s.
I guess, but that's, you know, the idiotic scalpers are to blame for that, and Sony's shortages.
I blame communism.
I, for one, missed the GTA 5 streams too, but still enjoy your new content streams. Thank you, bro. Thank you for the super chat.
It's like
that backfired on that guy. You guys just saw that? He tried to shoot me in the head, and I just hit him back. That backfired on him. What do you think of Sugimoto? I like him. I think he's a cool... Sugimoto can't shoot for crap, though, I'll tell you that. He's good at melee combat, but he can't shoot.
Okay, I don't know, I have something tricky with the free mode events. It's just, it won't let me join. Every time it just crashed.
If the USSR hadn't spent like so much money on weapons, maybe people wouldn't have had to wait years for a car or years to get an apartment. Maybe they could have invested in better infrastructure.
No, but you know, the leaders of the country, they had palaces. Like if you were ever in Bucharest or you saw what's his name? I keep forgetting his name. He had a palace with peacocks, with statues of peacocks with gold and diamonds. This is just a disgrace, because you walk down the streets and you see just those blocks that the Soviets built, and then you see those palaces, and it just makes you hate those leaders.
Why do you dress as video game characters? Because I just cosplay. It's this thing I do. And there was one guy that actually put a really good comment earlier, and he asked me, did the fall of the Soviet Union contribute to the rise of the Russian Mafia? 100% it did. The rise of the collapse of the Soviet Union gave rise to the Russian Mafia. 100% on that. The Russian Mafia did exist during Soviet times, but they were nowhere near as powerful until after the collapse. When the Soviet Union collapsed, that's when the Russian Mafia got really strong. And I'll tell you
It
something.
also helped.
But wait, let me make this point though, Jonathan. You guys know Bulgarin in GTA 4. You guys know how rich Bulgarin is, that he has like hundreds of guys working for him. Bulgarin is almost like a billionaire basically in GTA 4. You know, I bet you that Bulgarin was actually one of those like rich like he was one of those like corrupt oligarchs that was in Russia and took over after the Soviet collapse. So the reason that there's so many billionaires in Russia and the reason that people got really rich after the collapse of the Soviet Union is because a lot of these people that became billionaires were actually directors of government agencies and stuff like that. And what happened was when the Soviet Union collapsed, these people actually took over this land, this other stuff, and so that they got really rich quick selling government assets and other stuff. That's why so many billionaires popped up right after the collapse of the Soviet Union. And there was a lot of corruption in Russia. Like right after the Soviet Union collapsed, it was like a really bad time in Russia. It was like a lot of corruption, massive amounts of poverty. It was really bad. I'm no fan of the Soviet Union. I'm no fan of communism. But like right after the collapse of the Soviet Union, it was really bad in Russia. And a lot of people in the West, they don't understand that. A lot of people in the West, when they see the collapse of the Soviet Union, they just think good things. It is good the Cold War ended, and it's good kind of that the Soviet Union doesn't exist anymore. But it was really bad time for Russia when that happened, because a lot of corruption, a lot of poverty. It was just really bad in general.
Also, a lot of people got rich because they had access to huge amounts of weapons. Like in Iraq, let's say, they had huge amounts of old Russian fighter jets and weapons, and that's what led actually to the development of the F-22 Raptor and the F-35 JTF project.
Thank you, Eric, for the super chat. Hey Patrick, hope you're doing well. Another great Red Dead stream to kick off the weekend. My favorite part of this Friday Amazon is selling PS5s for $1,500. It's disgusting. I can't believe people are paying those prices. Yeah, and don't ever buy those. Don't ever purchase from the scalpers. But what were you saying, Jonathan? I'm sorry.
The idea behind the development of the F-22 Raptor wasn't the USSR idea. It was they knew that the USSR was about to collapse, so they developed an aircraft in order to take out militias with access to huge amounts of Russian or to Soviet weapons. So a lot of people think it was the Soviets who gave the reason to develop the F-22 Raptor, but it wasn't. It was the collapse of the Soviet Union.
There's also a really good movie that Nicolas Cage plays in, and it's called Lord of War. It's an arms dealer movie. And that movie is actually somewhat realistic. The reason that AK-47s went all over the place after the collapse of the Soviet Union is because arms dealers stole them. And so they sold them to like a lot of places. The USSR had so many weapons that they didn't need anymore because it was collapsed. It was gone. And so that was like I said, it was the worst. Like, if Gorbachev had his way and they hadn't gotten involved, the elite communists didn't try to overthrow him in like a coup, I think it probably would have had the best case scenario for like Russia. Like, Gorbachev's ultimate goal was to transition the Soviet Union into a more democratic state. That's what he wanted to do. He was the Soviet Union's first president. That's what Gorbachev was. If Gorbachev would have transitioned the Soviet Union into a democracy, it wouldn't have had this economic collapse that it did. This economic collapse has happened, and it was really bad for Russia. And like when you look at it from a Russian perspective, like the collapse of the Soviet Union is like one of the worst times ever in Russia. It's like really bad because it's the corruption, just the poverty. It was a lot of people in the West, they just see it, it's good. And don't get me wrong, like I said, I'm no fan of the Soviet Union. I'm glad it's gone, but it's you look at it from the Russian perspective too. It's just it was a really bad time for Russia when that happened.
Well, the collapse of the Soviet Union is still affecting Russia. Like today, the Russian coin is really low. You need 100 rubles, which is like $1, but not as the same worth of money, to buy coffee.
Why did Sam betray Tommy in the Mafia Definitive Edition? Because Sam is more of an opportunist. He wants to play his cards with Salieri because that's what he believes. He believes he'll survive if he works for Salieri. Okay, let's try up another bounty here. Okay. Lenin was a psycho. You know, that's the thing is, Lenin wasn't as evil as Stalin, but he was also bad. Lenin was the guy who created the, he created the Cheka, which is like the Soviet secret police, and the Cheka would just basically come to your house at night, kidnap you, like throw you into like a van, and you'd never be seen again. That's what, that's the secret organization that Lenin created. So, like, you know, people say that, you know, people like to defend Lenin, but, you know, Lenin wasn't as ruthless as Stalin, but he was still a bad guy. He still had blood on his hands. So, oh, this is right where we played the free roam event. Oh, and I still have... I should take off auto-aim. I don't like using this. Free aim. Here we go.
Could you take out some members of your posse? I can join you.
Sure. We just have to do it after this bounty. Okay, got him.
I'll wriggle out of this, and when I do...
I use free aim on foot, but I use auto aim on horseback because it's on horseback it's actually you know, horseback you really need auto aim or you're gonna die. On foot you don't really need free aim unless you're going up against players.
You signed your life away, you know.
Do I think that Tony Soprano died in the final episode of The Sopranos? Great question. You know, there's all different interpretations of it. I think the director might have accidentally said once that, didn't he say that he died or something like that? But, you know, my interpretation of it was, I always thought that, nothing happened at the end of The Sopranos. I think that, you know, that it was just Tony's paranoia just getting to him. That's what I always thought it was, that nothing happened. That was just it. But, you know, the last thing he sees is his daughter walking through the door, and then the screen goes to black, and they said, I think, was it, what's his name? I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was, what was the guy's name? What was the other guy's name? Oh man, it's been some time. What was the dude's name that was a rat in The Sopranos that was like Tony's friend? He got killed on the boat. What was his name? I'm trying to remember his name. Damn, I forgot. How could he's such a big character and I forgot. Bona something I think his name was. You know, somebody in the comments knows who I'm talking about. No, the guy who died on the boat. Let me look up his name. I'll know him. Hang on, let me look up the character's name.
He went to sleep with the fishes.
Okay, his name was Salvatore Pensiero. That was his name. That was the guy's name. I was trying to remember. It was Tony's friend. Yeah, Sal. Okay, so he there was one point. I'm pretty sure he was the character that said that when you get shot in the head, that you don't even see anything. It just goes black. I think that's what he was the one who said that. I think, and so it was that's possibly what happened. Tony might have got shot in the head. That's what might have happened. But you know, there are so many people that, like, you know, had like a motive to kill Tony at the end of like The Sopranos. Like, it was so many people that could have done it. You know, it was even Paulie could have possibly done it. Like, you know, it was Paulie. There was Butch. There was what's his name? Little Carmine. Trying to remember who else possibly. There's a lot of suspects. There's a lot of people, if you think about it, a lot of people that could have wanted Tony out of the way. The only guy in Tony's crew that I think would never betray him, that was still kind of alive, was Syl. I don't think Syl would ever betray Tony. I don't think he would ever do that. But like other people in the crew, I don't know. Are we gonna do a Red Dead Redemption 1 walkthrough? Yeah, I'll do that, Likeable. Tony Soprano, in The Sopranos. You know what, what it was, you know, I think that a possibility is Butch might have been the one who did it, he became, like, boss of the, Lupertazzi family after, like, oh, there's a moonshine mission, let me go do that. So, I think it might have been Butch, and the reason that I think Butch might have been the one to do it is because, you know, typically, like, you know, you can't speak for every mafia, but, like, you know, in general, like, you know, mafias, like, you know, they have some codes, and I guess you could argue some morals to a degree, but, you know, one of the big things that mafias do is, when mafias get into it with each other, like when they're about, you know, they're killing each other, or they're even killing like a member of their own family, you know, typically like a universal rule is not to hurt the person's family. So, like, you know, it's like, don't kill the person in front of a church, you know, don't kill them in front of their family, you know, things like that. And when Phil got whacked at the end of The Sopranos, he got whacked right in front of his wife, right in front of his grandkids. And, you know, that is, you know, that Butch might have seen that as, like, a big no. And that's why he might have ordered, like, Tony to be clipped at the end of The Sopranos. That's what might have happened. That's what might have happened.
You know that one of the Russian mafia rules are never to have any family, so you won't be able to be hurt through them.
I don't think, you know, I don't think people realize how shit, like, excuse my language, I want to say it. I don't think the people realize how crappy that, that lifestyle actually is. Like a gangster's, like, lifestyle, like a mafia lifestyle, you know, and you see, you have, like, you have all these idiot kids that are, like, in high school that be like, oh, I want to be a gangster, blah, 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 this, like, you know, when I get older. But I don't think that these, like, you know, these kids and these teenagers, I don't think they realize just how bad of a life it actually is. Because, you know, sure, you know, you might, you know, if you're in the mafia, sure, you might, you know, make a lot of money, but then what comes with that is you cut the bad things that you do, the bad things that happen to you, the fact that you might serve time in prison, the fact that you might get killed, all the constant paranoia, you know, the fact that you can never leave that life. You can't just pack up and just say, I want to move to another state. That just doesn't happen. So it's, you know, they think it's cool or something, but, you know, it's horrible. If I had a choice, would I rather be poor my entire life, but actually happy, or be very rich and in the mafia? I'd rather be poor and happy than be in the mafia. That's just a horrible, like, you know, life to live, and it's just, it's an immoral life, and it's just the constant paranoia, you know, you're thinking, you know, am I gonna get betrayed? Is somebody gonna screw me over? Is somebody gonna kill me? Or am I gonna get arrested? You know, that's, in these, a lot of these gangsters are really paranoid, like, they're constantly thinking that in their head. Is somebody gonna turn states? Is somebody gonna rat? Is somebody gonna try to shoot me? You know, that's, they have a very, you know, paranoid, mindset. Thank you, Likeable, for the super chat. I don't know. It's the Omerta, yeah, it's the Omerta. But the thing is, I'll tell you something, because I studied criminal justice, I learned a bit about the Mafia, and I'll tell you, the Omerta doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. There are very few people that actually the Omerta means something to them. The Omerta is just a thing, somebody says, okay, yeah, I accept the Omerta just so that they can get into the Mafia. It's not something that people really uphold or believe. The people that respect the Omerta are like the really old-fashioned gangsters. The gangsters that are in their 70s, 80s, maybe sometimes their 60s. Those guys, they tend to respect the Omerta. Like, modern Mafia members, not really, no. This is just a thing because, how many times does it happen, they say, you never betrayed a family, never betrayed a family's secrets, and then the second that they're facing any kind of hard time, any kind of time in prison, they snitch on the family right away, even though they took the Omerta, they took the oath. So, the Omerta doesn't really mean that much. And not only, it's not just about ratting. A lot of times these gangsters, they're trying to constantly get over each other. So they're constantly trying to get above somebody else. They're constantly trying to screw the other guy over and get above them in the organization. That's not really being loyal to the Omerta either. So, this whole, Omerta code, this whole, Costa Nostra thing, it doesn't mean a lot to these guys even, it's all just nonsense. I think it's the fact that they do it, sometimes I feel like the Mafia does this as some kind of symbolism to try to show, we're different, we have some morals, we have a code, we're a family, stuff like that. But in reality, it doesn't mean anything, it's nothing. It's just it's nothing. I mean, look at Mafia 2. In Mafia 2, you had, like, the whole Omerta thing, and it was, like, no drugs. Drugs are immoral, drugs are wrong, and yet 2 to 3 major families are all dealing drugs because they want to make money from it. So, that's it. So, Omerta clearly stated, no drugs, and yet 2 of the 3 families are selling drugs behind the scenes. So it's, they don't care about the whole Omerta thing. That was the thing. It's just it's a lot of guys. They just swear allegiance to it because they know if they don't swear allegiance to it, the boss is gonna kill them. But even the boss themselves doesn't even care about the Omerta a lot of times. Like I said, it's just something that they want to do to try to make themselves feel better or make themselves feel more moral than other people. But in reality, it's nothing.
You can kind of see this in the story mode of Red Dead Redemption 2. You have Micah trying to steal the Alpha and killing innocent women, so is Dutch.
I mean, they didn't really have an Omerta, though. That's, more about, their own, gang rules and everything, but...
Yeah, but you know what I meant.
But I'll, what is it also about it? I'm just trying to remember something about, I'm trying to remember something about the Omerta. Oh yeah, there was that, and the Omerta is flawed. It's massively flawed. Because the thing is, it almost makes made men untouchable, in a way, if you think about it. Basically, made men can do, really almost anything, as long as they don't get the organization in trouble. So if they don't cause heat for the organization, like the police or a war for another family, then made men are really free to do what they want without consequences. And so, the boss will oftentimes take a blind eye to that. And like a perfect example of that is if you watch The Sopranos, you know that one scene in The Sopranos, Ralph, who's a total scumbag. What is it? Ralph murders Tracy. So he literally murders Tracy. He tells Tracy that he doesn't care about her baby, and then when Tracy slaps him in the face, he basically just stomps her head on the concrete. And so he just murders this poor girl. He does it right in front of the Mafia's club, and Tony Soprano was a bit of a scumbag. He is a scumbag, but one of the things that I liked when Tony beat the crap out of Ralph. I did like that. And I think the reason Tony beat up Ralph is because he probably saw his daughter Meadow and Tracy, because they were around the same age. And so when he saw that Ralph murdered Tracy, he probably saw his own daughter lying there dead, and so he had that violent reaction when he beat up Ralph. But Ralph was a made guy, and so Tony put his hands on him. And then, you know, he had that whole conversation when Syl just says to him that, he's not related, she wasn't related to you by blood or by family. And so, therefore, her life is basically meaningless. That's what Syl is saying. And so, it's either Tony had to apologize to Ralph in that case. So that shows you just, how broken the Omerta is too in that regards. Ralph was clearly in the wrong. He murdered this poor girl, and because, he was a made man, it was apparently okay. It was, I was told there's a fake account of me here. I don't know why. I think there was somebody that got, somebody got timed out earlier for spamming. I wasn't really looking at the chat, but,
We have Raymond Baron in 21 minutes.
Pro, in Mafia Definitive Edition, was Salieri corrupt from the beginning, or did he change? On Salieri, but I never got around to it. I should probably turn on the lights, because my screen is, freaking out right now. Here. Hold on. What just happened to my... Okay, hang on.
Can you hear me?
Ugh.
We have Raymond Baron in 20 minutes.
Okay, it's the bounty. But, about, what is it, in the, we want to do a family role-play in Red Dead or Fortnite. Well, I don't play Fortnite likeable, but thank you for the super chat. I play Red Dead. But, about Salieri in Mafia Definitive Edition, Salieri and Morello are really the same thing if you think about it. They really are. The only difference between Salieri and Morello is that Morello knows who he is. That's the only difference is, Salieri puts on, this good guy, personality. In reality, he's a bad guy. And, what was it,
I'm fixing to trade his head in, recoup some of the money he swindled out of me at cards. But I ain't stupid. He's got some friends, and his friends got some guns. So, you ride with me. I'll cut you in. What do you say?
I had an L with Reddit app to just close out. Plus, we have Railroad Baron in 19 minutes. So, hurry up.
You know what I'll say, also, the Omerta, in regards to Salieri in Mafia Definitive Edition, the Omerta doesn't just state that you have to be, the Omerta states you have to be loyal to the family. And that goes for the boss as well. So a lot of people think that doesn't apply to the boss, but it also applies to the boss. The boss, even though the boss is the word, what the boss says goes, the boss also has to show loyalty to his guys. Because any kind of leader, regardless if this is, a mafia, a general, even a politician, any kind of leader has to have, show loyalty to his supporters, to his guys, the same way his guys show loyalty to him. Or that's not gonna work. And, for Salieri, for instance, his guys showed loyalty to him, but he didn't show loyalty to them. And the best example of that is at the end of, near the end of Mafia Definitive Edition. They changed they changed that cigar mission, because in the original Mafia Definitive Edition, the original Mafia game, it was that they were smuggling cigars. What was it? They were smuggling cigars, and the cigars that they were smuggling had diamonds in them. But Salieri just told them, "Oh, we're just smuggling cigars, not diamonds." He didn't even mention the diamonds. He just said, "Oh, it's just cigars that we're gonna steal." In the Mafia Definitive Edition, they changed it a little bit, where he admitted that there's diamonds in there, but then he didn't tell them that it's drugs in the inside the cigars. So it was completely it was a little bit different. Do you plan on any more history videos? Possibly, yeah. Probably when I relate them to GTA. Thank you, Red Dead. And do I have a goldfish? I had a goldfish when I was a kid, likable. Thank you for the super chat. But, so, basically, he has his guys, you know, take this, you know, major risk going to steal these cigars, and then even, you know, when they deliver the cigars, and Tommy's like, you know, let's see if we can try to help him move it into the warehouse, and, you know, he says, oh, I already got guys that'll move it into the warehouse. So, he asked them to go get drugs, which drugs that would have, probably, if carrying that much drugs would have given them a life sentence, basically. They were caught with that much, amount of drugs. And so he had them take this huge risk, and he's also dealing drugs, which is clearly, you know, I guess against the Mafia's code in that game, too. And, he's lying about it. So, you know, did Tommy break the omerta by, you know, snitching on the family? You know, to a degree, yes. But at the same time you could argue that Tommy's snitching was justified. Because of the fact that, Salieri screwed him over, did not cut him in on that, had him take this huge unnecessary risk and almost got them killed with drugs, was dealing drugs in the first place. He lied to them about that. He didn't cut them in, and then they robbed the bank, and then Salieri got mad that they didn't give him a cut. And so he had Paulie killed, and then he tried to have Tommy killed. So you know, I think it was justified that Tommy, you know, snitched on them. I think it was definitely justified.
Walter.
What do you think is better, Mafia remake or the original? I just like the remake. I like the remake more.
Damn good job getting them to me with some kicks still left.
But let me ask you guys, do any of the gangsters in that, do any of the characters in Mafia Definitive Edition have Chicago accents? Because I was curious about that, because that city was supposed to be based on Chicago. But, I guess I don't know. I did like Tommy's accent a lot in the Mafia Definitive Edition. His accent, I liked his accent a lot. His accent was definitely a lot cooler than in the original one. Oh, you want to sell your camp? Okay, Brendan, we can help you out with that.
We have enough time to do that and then join Railroad Baron.
How long is Railroad Baron in?
Like 14 minutes.
Okay,
so
yeah, we'll have enough time.
We can't dally.
Let's do it then. Brandon, invite quickly.
Do it without me. I'll just check if I can join not a public session because it's constantly keep crashing.
Well, Jimmy Pegarino is a bit of a joke, and I'm gonna explain, you know, exactly why he's a joke. I'll make a lore video on him. Ralph deserved to die the way he did. Yeah, I mean, it was, Ralph was definitely a scumbag. But you know something is, Ralph was a terrible human being. He was a really bad guy. And I would say Ralph is one of the most evilest characters on that show. Like, definitely. You could probably argue that Ralph was a bit of a psychopath even, you know. He does seem like he loves his son at least. But, like, Ralph has a very sadistic nature to him. Like, remember the part in the show when, like, remember when Silvio dragged Tracy from Ralph's house and beat her up? And Ralph was actually looking at it through the window, watching as she got beat up, and he was laughing at it. So, Ralph is definitely a really messed up person. Let me just get to this wilderness camp here. Not enough open to... Okay, this is, How is this not enough open? I'm in the middle of a field. But you want to know something, and this is the horrors of the Mafia. This is why the Mafia is so horrible. Because Ralph was a terrible person. He was a murderer, you know, he was a maniac, he was a psycho. But despite that, why didn't the Mafia just get rid of him? Why didn't they just kill him off? If he was such a bad guy, he was a murderer, you know, he killed this poor girl, why didn't they just get rid of him right away after he did that? Why? One simple reason. Because Ralph was a good earner. Ralph made them a lot of money, and so the Mafia turned blind eye. So the horrible things that Ralph did, the murders, you know, the abuse, you know, the manipulation, all the horrible things that he did, they turned a blind eye to that because Ralph made them a lot of money. And that is the horrors of the Mafia. And that shows you just how bad the Mafia is with that regard. So they had this guy that was clearly a bad guy, clearly a bad person. They got rid of him, you know, it would have probably saved lives, been much better for a lot of other people. But nope, they kept him around for so long Because he made them a lot of money. That is why.
I'm going to restart my PS4, so I'll be back in a few minutes.
Professional, if you think about it, that Tony was garbage and everyone liked Tony. What do you think about that? Well, I think it's because Tony was the main character. So, you know, you saw things from... And Tony was a very complicated person. But I'm going to tell you, as bad as Tony was, he wasn't as bad as Ralph. Ralph was much worse than Tony. You know, I'm not saying Tony was a saint. He was Tony was a murderer and a bad guy. He was a sociopath. But Ralph was much worse than... Ralph was just much worse than Tony. Wait, where did Jonathan go? He said he had to go? Wait, do I have the reins?
Yeah, he just stepped out for a minute.
Okay. I can't drive. It's not letting me drive.
Whoop. Brandon, maybe get off and then get back on again. Whoop.
Let's see if I can drive this now.
There you go. Now try.
Nope, I can't.
There you go.
Wait, I'm not driving it though, even though I have the reins.
Maybe Brandon will give back the reins in a minute, because I can see him driving.
I'm not driving this. Look, I'm not driving. Right now. It's
I can see Brandon driving it.
Oh, Brandon has the reins.
Yeah,
Wait, no, I have the reins now, but I'm not driving it.
Maybe Brandon, it's your controller.
You take the reins. I can't drive. My game's glitching out right now.
Try resetting your controller by holding down the PlayStation button until it goes off and then turn it back on again.
I don't think it's the PlayStation controller though, because my game works fine. It's just the I've had this issue before where I get on a wagon and I can't drive it. If Claude was a psychopath, why did Claude... I can drive now. If Claude was a psychopath, why did he put up with Catalina? One simple reason. You know, a psychopath, a psychopath, while they don't feel empathy for others, and, you know, they don't love others, at least in the ways that most other people do, Claude, probably admired Catalina. You know, that's probably why they were in a relationship together, because Catalina's also a psychopath. So, you know, Catalina's a psychopath in a different way. So, like, both of those characters, Claude and Catalina, are psychopaths. But that shows you how complex psychopaths are, because not all psychopaths are the same. So, Claude and Catalina are very different from each other, but the one thing they share in common is they're both psychopaths. But I think, you know, they like each other because they're both psychopaths. You know, they're both hardcore criminals. And I think the reason that Catalina liked having Claude around is because Claude didn't say anything when she did crazy things. And to tell you the truth, I don't think Claude even cared when Catalina did crazy things. I don't think people realize just how bad Claude is. Like, Claude is a really bad guy. Like, Claude is probably the most evil GTA character out of all of them. Like, he's the most evil GTA protagonist. Like, protagonist-wise, he is the most evil. Most evil non-playable character is Dmitry, but most evil playable character is Claude. You know, Claude, you know, there's that one scene. Remember when I did the Jeff video, Jeff the Lunatic in GTA 4? Remember in Jeff's final mission where he wants Nico to kill his wife? And, Nico tells him, no, I'm not doing that. And, I guarantee you, Claude would have done it. Claude would have just shook his head, taken the money, and just murdered the guy's wife. Guarantee you he would have done it. So Claude doesn't care about anything. It's as long as Claude's getting paid, he doesn't care about what he has to do. There are no limits for him. He'll do whatever.
On the last mission of Jeff the Lunatic, didn't he try to kill Nico?
No, he just got pissed off. He walked across the street and got run over. That was in Eddie's final mission.
Oh, okay.
How long until that Railroad Baron?
Let me check on this.
7 minutes.
Okay, I should be able to make it. Trevor has some morals.
He won't betray his friends. This is what I actually appreciate the most about Trevor.
I think we should keep free aim on for Railroad Baron, just for fun.
It depends. If I see like a team of rank 300 or 400s, I'm putting on William on.
Yeah, it'll be pretty apparent if we start losing.
Nico has the most morals out of any GTA character. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what the most moral GTA character is. I don't know. CJ probably. CJ's probably the most moral character, even though CJ did some bad things too. You guys remember when CJ went full psycho mode though in that mission? I think it's in that San Fierro mission where the construction workers are just saying bad things to his sister, and so he goes crazy and just starts destroying all the construction workers like booths and everything, and he pushes the foreman into like a hole and just fills it with concrete because he said something bad to his sister. You know, when CJ went into full like psycho mode. Do you believe the drug cartels are more powerful than the Mafia? I mean, I don't really want to keep talking about criminal organizations, but what I'll say is it depends. It depends what Mafia, because when you say Mafia, it's a very vague term. When you say cartel, it's a very vague term as well. If you're talking about the most powerful Mafias and the most powerful cartels, you know, who's more powerful, you can't really compare them. Because where the cartel operates, the Mafia doesn't really operate. And where the Mafia operates, the cartel doesn't really operate. So, I would say, you know, in terms of ruthlessness and evil, who is more evil, the Mafia or the cartel? Cartel. Definitely. Cartel is much more ruthless and much more evil. They're much worse than the Mafia, much worse. The Mafia aren't saints, they're really bad people too. But the cartel will do things the Mafia won't ever do. So, like, you know, when the cartel, like, you know, some of the horrible things they did in, like, you know, in Mexico, for instance, like, you know, I don't want to say specifically, but, like, the gruesome murders that they did, like, you know, especially, like, you know, in certain areas, that the Mafia wouldn't do things like that. You know, as bad as the Mafia is, they won't do something like that. So it's, the cartel is just much more brutal. Oh, thank you for sponsoring my channel, Lucas.
Are you in the middle of a trailer sale?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's showing me that I can see it, so I'm going to stay back. Just tell me when you're done, so I will join your class.
Who do I think is the scummiest mob boss? Salvatore Leone, Pauly Sindaco, Don Salieri, Don Morello, or Jimmy Pecorino? The scummiest? Pauly Sindaco, I'm gonna throw Pauly Sindaco right off of that list because there's just not much material to cover. Jimmy Pecorino. He's the most scummiest one. Why? Because Jimmy Pecorino, when he killed off Ray. Now, Ray wasn't a good person by any means. He wasn't. Ray was a scumbag. But the thing is, Ray never betrayed the family. Ray never betrayed anyone. He didn't even betray Nico. He helped Nico out. And, Pecorino killed him off simply for mere suspicion that he was a rat. And then also on the fact that, 2 of Pecorino's guys died. Remember when Marco and Pete died? Marco and Pete, sacrificed themselves to save Pecorino. And Pecorino couldn't even say one nice thing about them after they died. So the two loyal guys who sacrificed their lives for you, and he couldn't even say one good thing about them. He just said, oh, well, too bad, they died. That was just basically his reaction. So yeah, Pecorino, yeah, he's the scummiest, boss. And the thing is, I don't even really consider Pecorino a boss. You know, he's a joke. You know, the other, at least Don Salieri and Salvatore, and Don Morello, they were at least bosses and they were scary. But Jimmy Pecorino's just a joke. He's not intimidating, he's not scary by any means, he's just a joke. There's a reason he didn't get on the commission. There's a reason for that. And there's a reason the other families make fun of him. Do all GTA protagonists have an evil side of them? Yes. Every GTA protagonist is a bad person. Every single one. You know, you don't have really one that's a good person. You know, some are worse than others, but at the end of the day, they're all violent criminals. Every single one of them. You know, there's not one, you know, GTA protagonist that's a good guy. You know, you could argue that Arthur Morgan's a good guy. You know, yes, he did some bad things, but, you know, generally he's a good guy. But it's, you know, you could argue that John Marston is a good guy too at the end of the game, but you know, in GTA characters, you can't really argue that GTA characters are good guys. You can't really make that argument for any of them.
Yeah, man. Arthur Morgan and John Marston, they are not good people, but what that is important is they're trying to do better than what they did before.
Hey Pro, why did CJ betray Salvatore if CJ knows what it's like to be betrayed? It's not really comparable. And the reason that it's not comparable is because CJ was never really loyal to Salvatore in the first place. You can't really... I mean, it is technically a betrayal, but you can't really be considered a traitor to something that you weren't loyal to in the first place. And you have to also understand, CJ wouldn't have done that if Salvatore hadn't been intruding on his friend's casino. So remember, Salvatore and his guys were trying to get rid of the Triad's casinos. CJ had a 1/3 stake in that casino, and it was also his friend's casino, Uzi. He was loyal to Uzi. So basically, Salvatore was trying...
Before you join, could you invite me, please?
Not to interrupt. Sorry, not to interrupt what you were saying, but why don't we stay in Brandon's posse? And okay, he's joining Railroad Baron, which is good.
Could you invite me, please?
And also, CJ did remain loyal in a way, if you think about it. But he didn't remain loyal to Salvatore. He remained loyal to Ken Rosenberg, Macker, and Kent Paul. Because remember, you know, those three guys, CJ didn't need them. You know, he didn't need them. CJ could have easily gotten rid of them, or he could have let Salvatore kill them. But CJ made a promise to them. He made a promise that I'm going to help you guys get out of here. I'm going to help you guys escape from Salvatore. And he kept his word. So CJ kept his word. He kept his promise to them. He didn't need to help them. He didn't get anything really from it. But he still kept his word. And that was the thing about us. So Salvatore was going to get rid of Ken Rosenberg when he didn't need him anymore. He's going to have him killed. So, you know, I think that Salvatore deserved it, personally. I think he deserved to get ripped off by CJ.
Well, since I couldn't join with you, so I'm going to join against you.
And I'll tell
this will be interesting.
I'll tell you this about Salvatore, is Salvatore gets me pissed off, personally, because, there's one point in the game, in Liberty City Stories, when he says, it's over for, men of honor like you and me, when he talks to Tony. He considers himself a man of honor, and yet he's dealing drugs. He is dealing drugs. He's dealing drugs all over Portland, and he considers himself a man of honor. That's, it's weird, because, you know, you look at these gangsters, and these gangsters, you know, they somehow believe they have some kind of morality complex above other people. They think that they're somehow morally better than other people. They're like, oh, I'm a man of honor, so therefore I'm not as bad as this criminal. You know, I have some morals. Oh, yeah, dealing drugs, you're a real good guy. You know, it's, so Salvatore, you know, that's why I really don't like Salvatore. Thank you, Sean, for subscribing. Salvatore's an interesting character, don't get me wrong. But I have, no respect for him, and I don't like him simply for those, you know, those reasons. Any Red Dead lore, videos coming? Yeah, I'll have more, coming,
Well, I think I have a problem from the server itself because I keep collapsing every time. So, after this free mode event, are you going to play poker?
Crap. Wait, what did you say, Jonathan? I'm sorry?
After this free mode event, what are you going to do?
Probably gonna end the stream, get something to eat. Why, do you need help with something?
No, I'm just wondering.
Damn, okay. Added ammo there. Damn, okay. Sometimes if you did enough damage to somebody, it's better to aim at their body. Hey Varesh, I wanted to say thank you for all your guides, whether they are GTA 5 or Red Dead Redemption 2. Thank you for lifting up our communities. No problem there. Thank you, Naster. Oh yeah, Ashley died from a drug overdose. And she was already in another relationship with another drug addict, and they both died. Oh yeah, Brian was always annoying and scummy. The next part I'll have will be about Brian in what rank are some of these guys? Okay, they're hundreds. Oh, he's playing with Slippery. Okay. What is this guy doing? Okay, I don't know what that was. Damn. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny, I'm not complaining. Okay, just wait till I get my shotgun ready. It's not gonna work out well then. Getting ambushed here, but I killed a bunch of them that time with me. Damn. Ah. Just gonna leave these guys a nice trap right now. Didn't want to have to use explosive rounds, but they're all literally ganging up on me at once. No, dang, I'm just getting attacked by this posse here. They're all just going after me right now, not even focusing on the train. It's fine, I don't mind a challenge. Well, I gotta use shotguns. I gotta get my shotgun ready. How is this dude still alive? Okay, that was a bit ridiculous that many times. Oh, come on. Ah. Damn, this force, get out of the way. Okay, that's some ridiculous nonsense right there. Ah, double-barreled, 2 son-offs. Come on, give me the dynamite. Oh, I got him! Dynamite arrows now. There we go. I always feel bad when the professional gets spammed with GTA 5 questions. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Thank you, Grungier Lamp Gaming. Thanks, man. I don't know, it's, you know, some people, you know, I guess some people haven't been able to accept that I've, they haven't been able to accept that I moved on to other games, and so, like, you know, they still think that, like, that I'm constantly gonna keep doing GTA 5 when that's not the case. It is a bit frustrating though, like when I'm playing like a completely, like, you know, usually when I play a live stream, I don't really mind answering any questions. I go off topic a lot of times, you guys notice, but you know, I just typically don't want to answer GTA 5 questions because I moved on from that game. I play other games. I'm a different channel now, like, you know. But you know, there's some people that just refuse to let that go. They refuse to accept that I moved on to other games, and they still think that, like, that I'm obligated to do only GTA, nothing but GTA. You know, I don't know how people can just play one game constantly and not get bored of it. I don't get that. My power keeps cutting down. I'm sorry to hear about that, Jonathan. Okay. Can you make a guide to free roam events? I mean, I could, but you know, they've been in the game for so long. It's most of the free roam events kind of suck. Like, there are some good ones, like, you know, Cold Dead Hands, Railroad Baron, but there are others that aren't too good. Have you been watching the Euros? I haven't watched soccer in some time. You know, before I started the live stream today, my dad was actually watching like a soccer match. He was watching like Scotland versus England. I don't know how that ended. I watched a little bit of it near the end, but I went upstairs when there was like 70 minutes left. So there was just How come you don't make GTA 5 online content anymore? Because I want to expand my channel and I don't want to base my entire channel on just one game. Let me ask you, let me ask you the question back, Firefox, and I don't mean this in a rude manner at all. Listen, so don't get that impression. But you know, how would you feel if you were just playing like one game, like GTA 5? And that whenever you tried to play any other game, that you would have a bunch of people that would complain to you and just get angry at you when you tried to play something else than GTA 5. Because that's exactly what happened to me. And I just said, you know, eventually I said, you know, no more of this, you know, I'm gonna do what game I want to do, you know, regardless of the views I get, you know. And the thing is, you know, when I stopped doing GTA 5 content, you know, I lost thousands of subscribers, I did, you know, but at the same time is, you know, I gained a lot more subscribers, you know, back, you know, playing different content and, you know, doing different stuff. And, you know, if, I don't want to see anybody unsubscribe, I don't, you know, when somebody unsubscribes, you know, I get a little upset when somebody unsubscribes, and the reason I do is because I feel like I did something wrong. And so, like, you know, they didn't like something, and I feel like I did something wrong, and so therefore they unsubscribed. But, you know, if it's unsubscribing from me because I play different games and I don't do as much GTA 5 content anymore, then, you know, I guess that's their choice. You know, there's nothing I can do about that. You know, I'm not gonna, you know, get all offended over it or, you know, really, you know, get emotional over it. Yes, you know, it's unfortunate, but I'm not, you know, gonna take it personally. And, you know, as for, like, some of the hostile people, like, the people that, you know, get really angry, you guys have seen the people that get really angry. Like, you know, those people, you know, when they threaten to unsubscribe, you know, that might actually be the best thing. Because, you know, they don't get pissed off, you know, seeing me do other content then, and they don't spam my videos making other people pissed off that are trying to enjoy the new content. So that's, you know, sometimes might be the best scenario. Do I already have this sample? I think I do. Yeah, I do. I don't need it. Will I make videos on the upcoming GTA 5 online DLC? Yes, I will, and I promised I will, but the thing is, it depends. It depends on how much content I make. I'll make something on the new GTA Online DLC, but if the new GTA Online DLC is just like a few new races, because that's like what it seems like, then I'm just gonna make a video, you know, just talking about, like, you know, my thoughts on it, and that'll be it, and then I'll just go back to doing the other content. Professional, I appreciate you a lot. You're a nice person and I respect you. I never watched other content, but I'm excited to see a new chapter in your channel. Too much GTA 5 is hard. I hope you gain subs. Thank you. Thank you for their copycat box. And you know something, you know, I was doing a stream the other day, and I had like a guy, like, you know, come on the stream, and and the thing is, I don't think he was trying to be rude. So I don't think that was even his intention. But, he basically just, like, you know, made a comment, and he just basically said to me, like, why don't you do GTA Online videos? You'll get more views, and you'll make more ad revenue. That's, you know, what he told me. And I said to him, you know, sure, you know, I'll make more, you know, money doing GTA Online content, that's, you know, a possibility, but I'm not gonna, you know, money isn't everything. It's not, you know, some people that, you know, go crazy over money, it's not everything. And I'm gonna, you know, I understand that by doing new content, I'm not making the same money that I am by doing new content. I have less views, and I don't have as many subscribers at the same rate as when I was doing GTA Online content. I fully understand that, but that's a step that I was willing to take. You know, I was willing to step, you know, I'm willing to, you know, take my morals first, because I'm not going to do something that's going to make me unhappy, even if it makes me money. You know, that's like, I do what I want to do on this channel. So, like, yes, by, you know, by me doing Red Dead, and by me, you know, playing GTA 4 and doing, like, all, you know, all other different games, and playing SOCOM and all the other stuff, sure, I'm not making as much money as when I was doing GTA Online content. I'm actually making a lot less. But at the same time it makes me happy. Playing Red Dead makes me happy. Doing SOCOM makes me happy. Playing, you know, the older GTAs makes me happy. Doing playthroughs makes me happy. If I did GTA Online, sure, I might get massive amounts of views, and sure, I might get, you know, a ton of money, you know, ad revenue, but it's not going to make me happy. I'm not going to be happy doing GTA Online, and primarily because I'm bored of the game. I don't feel like playing the game. And so, therefore, I choose to do what makes me happy and what I'm passionate about versus what makes the most money. And that's, you know, that's how I do things on this channel. You know, other YouTubers might disagree with me. They might say it's all about the ad revenue, but, you know, to me, you know, I do YouTube as a living, yes, but I'm happy with the views that I get. I'm happy with, you know, what I have, the subscribers I get, and the views I get. That's what I'm happy with what I get. You know, that's this. I'm not the type of guy that, like, you know, wants more and more and more. So, you know, working in retail, am I right? I used to work in retail sometime, like 2 years ago almost. Thank you for the super chat. But, you know, too many YouTubers, you know, they go crazy with the ad revenue. You know, that's, you know, that's their big thing. It's the ads. It's all about the ad revenue and everything like that. And that's, I think that's a bad way to run a channel. I don't think that's the way you should run a channel. Let's see here. Let me go back to free aim if you can, guys. Here. Here. How old are you? I'm 27. Thank you, Gabriel. Damn, he's moving faster than I can move my scope. Okay. Gotcha. Usually pretty good at sniping.
Can't wait to see.
You have all the makings of Varsity Athlete. Thank you, and I know what that's from. That's from The Sopranos. But, you know, what I was saying about the ad revenue earlier, you know, there's YouTubers, you know, that panic so much, and they go crazy over the ad revenue and all the other stuff, and I used to go crazy about the views, like, you know, 2 years ago. I did. You know, I was getting stressed out about that, and,
after this, still breath in my body? What are you gonna do about that? Shit! I won't change your mind.
But you know, I went crazy over the views too, and I got stressed out over it, and, you know, like, one of the things that got me stressed out is that, you know, when I started doing, like, you know, different content, then, you know, I had, you know, much less views when I started doing different content, and I felt like I was trapped in this endless, like, GTA Online box, and I felt like I couldn't get out of that box. I felt like the only content that I could make that people would watch is GTA Online, and it got me stressed out for some time, and I kept doing GTA Online content, and nothing but GTA Online content for some time, and it made me less and less happy. You know, I was getting views and I was getting subscribers, but it made me less happy because not that I hate GTA Online, I enjoy it, otherwise I wouldn't play it, but it was the fact that I did the game so much, and I didn't want to be known for just this one game. I wanted to play other games and other content. And there was like this group of people that were constantly getting on my case and getting all pissed off at me when I was trying to do other content. And it was getting really frustrating. Money doesn't buy happiness. Yeah, it doesn't, Eric. And you know, and the thing is, you know, when I wanted to be a YouTuber, I never wanted to be a GTA Online YouTuber. That was never what I wanted to be. This what ended up happening because it was one of my favorite games, and so I got popular in that. But that's not what I wanted to be. I always wanted to be a playthrough channel. I wanted to be a channel that plays different games and does playthroughs of newer and older games. That's what I always wanted to do. That's the type of channel that I always wanted to be, even before I even had a YouTube channel. But you know, I turned into a GTA Online channel for some time because, you know, that's what I got popular on, and I kept doing it, and I grew from it. But, you know, eventually I got to the point where I said, no, you know, I'm gonna keep doing what I want to do, and, you know, people aren't gonna tell me what I can and can't play. What about Agent game that Rockstar canceled? Who do you think, what do you think about espionage games? We never had much games from this genre, and I think Rockstar, would do. I would be open to it, but I think they gave up on Agent at this point, Gabriel. Yeah, but, like, you know, this, you know, and I'm so happy, you know, I ventured out and I tried doing other content because I was going to be unhappy, and the same people that are, you know, complaining for GTA Online content, those same people would be complaining if I was doing GTA Online content either way, because I wouldn't be happy in the videos, and you'll be able to tell, and they're like, oh, he's not enjoying this game, he's not having fun. Well, I'm like, well, you know, my argument would be, then what's your problem? Because you were demanding that I do GTA Online content, but nothing says that I have to have fun here, because how can I have fun if I'm not having fun? I'm not going to force myself to have fun. So it's like that. People, you know, sometimes people need to chill. They really do. And, you know, accept the fact that, you know, channels change, people move on to other games, and they do other stuff. It's as simple as that. You know, I got to $1 billion on GTA. You know, people say that I abandoned the game. Well, like, you know, what else is there for me to do? I hit $1 billion. I did everything that I possibly could. All the businesses, all the top 5s, Heist, everything, guides on everything. So many videos. And it's like, there's nothing else for me to do, you know, there's people might say, oh, do PvP content. I don't do PvP, I'm not a PvP player. So, you know, I do have some PvP videos, but that was when I got attacked, and I was fighting back in self-defense. So there's nothing for me to do. You know, I'm not gonna grind to $2 billion next, that's gonna be boring, because it's gonna be the same thing again. So it's, you know, I hit $1 billion, that was my goal. You know, I wanted to prove that you could hit $1 billion without, you know, glitching or modding or any cheating, and we got there. And, you know, that's it. It's time to move on to other games, play other stuff.
Wish my horse looked that nice.
I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing. I like seeing people play older games. I recently started playing older games as well, because there's nothing to play. Yeah. Can you stream more often? Yes. When Watch Dogs Legion releases more updates, I'll do like a Watch Dogs stream every week. Maybe I'll do it like every Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that. Because I want to do Watch Dogs Legion online more.
Look, I didn't see who you are. Just leave me out of this.
Watch out for black-eyed Sarah.
Let's see here. Yeah, and the thing is, though, is, you know, I got, you know, when I started, like, and the thing is, I'll tell you this. If you guys, you know, because a lot of you guys that are watching don't know what I'm talking about, because the vast majority of people that subscribe to me, I'd say, you know, the last 100,000 subscribers that I got are, like, I'd say 90% of them are from the new content. It's not from the old content, it's from the new content. The new content is playthroughs, you know, the older GTA games, the lore videos. That is, you know, where the last 100,000 subs, most of them came from. I check my analytics, that's how I know. And, you know, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you go back on my channel like 2 years ago, I did mostly GTA Online content, and it got to the point where I got so bored of it, and I started, you know, doing other content. And if you stayed with my channel for so long, despite me doing other content, I do really appreciate it. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for enjoying my content. What it was, you know, I had people that were telling me my channel was going to fail. You guys remember that like a year ago. I had people telling me, oh, you know, you don't do GTA Online, your channel is going to fail. And the thing is, I had other even YouTubers, like, you know, talking about it, that I stopped playing GTA Online. Not going to make any names, usually, you know, smaller channels in general. But, like, you know, there was people that were making claims. They were like, oh, you know, he's going to go back to playing GTA Online in like a month. You'll see. When his views drop, he's going to go right back to playing GTA Online. Guess what? It's been almost a year since I expanded my content. I didn't go back to playing GTA Online. Despite, you know, my views sank. They did. But despite that, I didn't go back to playing GTA Online. You know, when I make a pledge, I make a promise to myself, I'm keeping that. I'm not, you know, going back on something, especially for money. You know, I don't do stuff like that. You know, just because, you know, my content has less views doesn't mean I'm going to, stop it. Pro, can you do a video talking about the put on warmer clothes glitch in story mode? It's very annoying and Rockstar needs to fix it. I never heard of that. Can you describe that a little bit? What is that exactly, Undead Coyote? What, does it say you need to put on warmer clothes even if you don't need to? Thank you for the super chat though, Coyote. Am I fluent in Polish? Yes, but I can't really read. Yeah. But, what else was it? Yeah, and I had people telling me my channel was going to fail and that it was going to go nowhere when I try to do other content. It's just people that are pissed off that I'm, you know, not, people that are pissed off in general that I, you know, that I didn't stick to just GTA Online. You think Sopranos changed TV? Back then, yes. Today, no. Because, you know, today a lot of kids don't have the appreciation for The Sopranos like I did when a lot of other people did when it was out. Oh, I haven't heard about that, Lord. That's weird. Everyone in camp says to put on warmer clothes. I never heard of that. That's weird. I could look into that. You watch any movies recently? No. I've been watching Moriarty the Patriot. It's an anime, but other than that, no. I never watched Breaking Bad, so I can't comment. Is Red Dead crossplay? No, not yet. At least, hopefully, it becomes one day. Sub because of the GTA 4 Liberty City stories, amazing content and nostalgia. Absolutely love the lore videos. Thank you. And that's the thing is, you know, the people that complain, what they don't understand is that people like you, Danny, would never have been able to find my channel if I didn't expand. You know, that's what the people don't understand, because, you know, the people, you know, they talk about views, they say, oh, you're getting less views, so then therefore the content has failed if it gets less views. No. You know, good content grows over time. Some of the best videos, you know, that get hit over 1 million views sometimes get less than 1,000 views in an hour. So it's, you know, just because, you know, something gets less views doesn't mean the content's failing. You know, what they don't understand is that new content attracts new subscribers and a wider audience. It doesn't just, you know, stick to just one particular subject. I stayed for longer, subscribed to your channel, I think 2.5 years ago, and enjoyed all your content. Thank you. And also, you know, there was a YouTuber, you know, who, a YouTuber who, like, you know, once, you know, had a little bit of an argument with me. This was on Twitter. You know, not gonna make any names. I didn't even respond to the comment because it was like a comment I saw, and it was from another YouTuber. Not gonna make any names. But, you know, they basically made an argument that, you know, that doing other content gets less views and less ad revenue. And because of that, what ends up happening is, you know, they can't pay the bills, and that they, you know, that they struggle and stuff like that. Well, you know, I don't tell anybody what to do on their channel. If somebody wants to do just GTA Online content on their channel and they don't want to do anything but GTA Online, that's all they want to do, feel free. I'm not, you know, I'm not judging. Go ahead and do, you know, what you want to do. You know, I'm just saying from my personal perspective why I don't do just GTA Online. So when people come to my channel and they ask me, you know, it's been like, you know, it's been over a year since I, you know, July last year, so almost a year since I expanded my content. Because July last year is when I said, nope, I'm doing other content, and that's when I started with Ghost of Tsushima. And there was, you know, people that still come to my channel even almost a year later and just ask why I'm not doing GTA 5. And so I explained that from my perspective, and I, you know, go over this in a lot of live streams, exactly, this point. But, you know, I'm not, and even if, like, you know, if you base your channel around one type of game, like GTA Online, you know, the best thing to do in that aspect is still make some GTA Online videos, but on the side, make other content, even if that content doesn't get as much views, because that way you can try to ease your audience and try to transition into other content at the same time. So it's not like you're just randomly stopping playing GTA one day and just say, I'm doing other content. You want to try to transition into that content over time. And that's what I did. I was doing other content on the side, and eventually, you know, when I felt like I transitioned enough into new content, I just, you know, didn't do GTA 5 really anymore because I didn't feel like it. And so that's, you know, that's what ended up happening. But, you know, my response to the people that say, oh, you know, ad revenue and all this other stuff, I have to pay the bills, I understand to a degree, because, you know, this is how I pay the bills also, with YouTube. That's how I support myself. But, I used to work a job, go to college, and do YouTube at the same time, so that wasn't, you know, it wasn't easy to do all three at once. I barely had enough time for myself. But, I'm gonna tell you, from a YouTuber's perspective, you never want to rely on just ad revenue. Relying on just ad revenue is a terrible thing to do, because ad revenue is extremely volatile, extremely unstable. You know, you could do good on ad revenue, and then you could do horrible. So it's extremely unstable. So you never want to base your income on just ad revenue if you're a YouTuber. You want to try to get into other sources of income, passive sources of income, if possible. Try to do something that'll, you know, make you some money on the side while you're doing YouTube income, so that if, you know, if YouTube doesn't go your way, you always have something else that you can fall back on and something else that you can do. I mean, that's what I did. Like, over a year ago, I started doing the stock market, and I do the stock market, like, occasionally. You know, I don't go crazy with the stock market, but it is a little bit extra that I've been making from the stock market. You know, I learned how to do it, and that's, you know, that's one thing that I do, you know. And eventually, you know, what I want to do is eventually, maybe one day, I want to get into real estate. You know, I want to buy, like, a house and rent it out to somebody. And if it goes really well, I might consider buying a second house and renting it out to somebody. So I'm always open to other sources of income, not just YouTube. But too many YouTubers, they just limit themselves just to YouTube and nothing else. They don't consider any other form of income. They just consider YouTube, and that's really bad. Because one day, YouTube could just pull the plug on everything, and everything could be gone. And that's why it's just not a good idea to do that. No poker today? Yeah, probably not today. I don't feel like playing poker, really. I have made a few stupid stock purchases. I have done that before, and I haven't really gone negative though. I made like a stupid stock purchase once, and I held on to it for like 2 months. It was negative for 2 months, and then 2 months later it was positive, and I sold it. So that was like one stupid purchase that I made before. I'm not an expert by any means. Because of what you've done, this has convinced other YouTubers to do the same. I don't know. Have I convinced any other YouTubers to do the same? I don't know if I have. But, I'll tell you something. There was one YouTuber that convinced me to expand my channel. He didn't even say it directly to me. I just looked at his channel. That was, what happened. But, basically, there was a, Tagback TV. You guys know who Tagback TV is. You guys are watching a Red Dead stream, so you probably know who Tagback TV is. Tagback TV, if you know him, over a year and a half ago, he did mostly Red Dead. That's all he did, Red Dead Online, and that's where he got popular from. He got popular from Red Dead Online and Red Dead Redemption 2. And what happened was, he started expanding his channel. So when the pandemic started happening, he started playing other games. He started doing Uncharted and, all those other games. And then Animal Crossing came out. He did Animal Crossing. He did really well in Animal Crossing. His Animal Crossing videos did much better than his Red Dead videos. And, he's, approaching, 1 million subscribers now? He's close to it. And he's been doing really well. Now, the thing about it is, what I'll say is, Animal Crossing doesn't interest me at all. I'm not into that type of game. But despite that, I can see, by watching his channel, I can see he's happy. He enjoys doing Animal Crossing. He's really passionate about that game. He really likes it. And he's done really well expanding the channel. And the fact that he's happy, that is the most important thing. Oh, thank you for the super chat there. Hi, Professional. I recently found out about your channel because of the lore videos. I think the Big Smoke one was the first one I saw, but I've ended up loving your content. I wish you the best in the future. Love from the UK. Thank you, Makti, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Thank you for the super chat. I do really appreciate it, man. But that's what, you know, he, you know, Tag Back TV expanded, and, you know, some people complain he doesn't do Red Dead content really much anymore, but you can't deny the fact that he's happy. He's happy with the new content, and he enjoys it. And that's, you know, what's the most important. My friend treats GTA as if it was real life. Any thoughts on that? No one should be treating a game as if it's real life. That's not something to do. Not all viewers are mature enough to respect your decision to play different games. Some viewers are kids, teens, or just trolls. Yeah. Yeah, some people can be really unreasonable. And you know what? What was outrageous was like one time, I even got harassed on for not playing GTA even off stream. That even happened to me. There was 2 instances that I can remember. Because I have over 2,000 people on my friends list on PlayStation, and I'd say 90% of those people are people that added me from GTA Online streams. And what happened is, I was playing Skyrim, like, 2 years ago. And I had, like, one guy that just messaged me randomly on my friends list, and he just said to me, "Why are you playing that game? That game sucks. Play GTA." I'm like, really? Seriously? Like, you're gonna send me something like this? And I got into like a little bit of an argument with him I just messaged him back. I'm like, mind your own business what I play. I like Skyrim and that's it. And then he just replied to me, GTA Online is better. It's like, you can't even compare GTA Online to Skyrim. That's the stupidest thing I heard. And I'm like, okay, remove from my friends. It's deleted. Like, I don't normally delete people, but that was just stupid. And then there was a second guy. The second guy, what did he do? Trying to remember what it was. It was also I started getting harassed for not playing GTA. What do you think about the YouTubers that diss Mr. Boss and show clips of him getting grief by a bunch of people? Really enjoyed the parody, by the way. One moment here. Well, look, I'm not really gonna comment on that channel, but, like, you know, I think that by showing any clips of him, regardless of what it is, you're giving the guy more attention, and so by default, he's getting more viewers. And so, you know, that's why I don't talk about the clickbait channels really much anymore, because I don't want to give them attention. Oh, I remember now. The second guy that was harassing me over GTA, this was off stream too. Basically what happened to me, also, like, you know, a few years ago, random guy on my friends list, he sends me a message. He says, "Do you want to play right now?" It was just a generic message. "Do you want to play?" It wasn't even, "Do you want to play GTA Online? Do you want to play something right now?" And I said to him, "Sure, let's play Red Dead Online." I said to him, because I didn't feel like playing GTA Online at the time. And he said, "I don't have that game." And then I was saying, okay, you know, why don't we play, you know, Call of Duty? You know, why don't we play Call of Duty? No, I don't have that. Okay, why don't we play Battlefield 1? No, I don't have that. Oh, I only have GTA Online. Let's play that. And I said to him, "I don't want to play GTA Online right now." And he just replied to me with just why. And you know what I said to him? I replied to him, "Because I don't feel like it." And his reply to me was a bit of a rude reply. And he just said to me, "How can you not feel like playing GTA Online? You're the king of GTA Online. You should want to play this game." Like, it was just a nasty reply like that. And it was like, I simply don't feel like playing GTA Online. Like, what don't you understand about that? But he was giving me an attitude over it just because I didn't feel like playing it. Like, I played the game, I played the game like, I used to play the game like 7 days a week. Maybe I want to play a different game. Maybe I don't feel like playing the game. But, you know, you don't have to give me an attitude over it. It was just, Hey, Pro, is the best GTA ever made in your opinion? I think GTA 4, you know, my favorite one, personally. I just like all the details in GTA 4. Thank you, Jacob. But, like, you guys will notice, like, when I play GTA 4, you guys seen some of the comments. The comments aren't as common anymore, but just look at the comment section in my GTA 4 videos, or, like, you know, even my Liberty City Stories videos and my San Andreas videos. Like, sometimes I'll see, like, a comment, and it's, like, generally the same comment, and it's like, "Why don't you play GTA anymore?" Like, it's a comment like that. "When are you gonna make another GTA video?" Like something like that. And the ironic thing is, they're posting that on a GTA 4 video, a GTA Liberty City video, a GTA a San Andreas video, a GTA 3 video. That's GTA. And so it's like, you know, the people that are saying, "Why don't you play GTA anymore?" They're acting like GTA 5 is the only GTA game out there and everything else is apparently garbage. That's you know, what the perspective that I've seen. Thank you, Blaze, for the super chat there. Thanks, man. I don't think these people realize that if GTA San Andreas didn't exist, you wouldn't have GTA 5. So it's in their mind, GTA Online is the only GTA. Yeah, they look at a game like GTA 3 or Vice City or San Andreas, and they're like, oh, the graphics in that game suck. This game sucks, therefore. That's, you know, the attitude they have. But when I was a kid, these games were way ahead of their time. GTA Vice City, GTA 3, San Andreas, these are amazing games when I was a kid. Like, these were, like, you know, the best games out there when I was a kid. And, you know, for somebody to tell me that, like, the games that I liked as a kid are garbage, like, I don't appreciate that. Oh, what the? Is there a bear? There's a bear. But, yeah, he's standing his ground against the bear. Oh, what? Well, I wasn't able to save him. He's dead. Okay. Ignore the hate, Patrick. I will respect you and your grind no matter what you do. Thank you. Yeah, I should probably clean some of my guns here. Tommy was a great character. I liked him a lot. They are kids, and GTA Online is their thing, just like for your favorite games when you were young, Pro. Just let them be and don't get too worked up over it. Oh, I don't really get... I used to get worked up over it, but I don't really get that worked up over it. And it's like I've said many times. Everyone is allowed to have an opinion. You know, you can like something, you can not like something. That's, you know, your opinion, what game you think is the best. The problem is that people try to shove their opinions onto other people. So they're literally, you know, they'll come to, like, you know, a GTA 4 video, and they'll start spamming the comment section, oh, GTA 5 is better, this game sucks. When something like that happens, it's hard to ignore it because it's causing a disturbance in the comment section, and it's annoying the people that are trying to enjoy the content. So the people that are trying to enjoy GTA 4, for instance, they get annoyed when they look at the comment section and they see somebody spamming and saying, oh, you know, this game sucks, GTA 5 is better. Like, for instance, I don't like Fortnite. I really don't like Fortnite. I don't like the game. But I don't go to Fortnite channels and just spam their comment section or their streams and just say Fortnite is garbage. I just, you know, say they like that game, you know, it's their thing on their channels, okay. You know, I don't, no desire to go to their channels and start arguments. That's just it. If you don't believe me on how bad it is, just look at Red Dead videos, and you will see so many Red Dead streams, you know, videos, in the comment section where people will just say, oh, you know, Red Dead Online is garbage, GTA Online is better, when you can't even compare games like this. So that's the problem with it exactly, is people will constantly try to shove their opinion onto other people. You know, I think that GTA 4 is the best GTA game. You know, it wasn't until recently I decided that when I recently replayed it, because generally I had a neutral perspective, but, you know, when I come to it, I think GTA 4 is the best one. That's my opinion. I don't shove my opinion on anyone. I don't, you know, say GTA 5 is garbage, but that's just my opinion. But, you know, people, unfortunately, they try to shove their opinion down on other people's throats. You know, that's exactly what happens. I feel like there's too many Battle Royale games. Yep, you're right. There is way too many Battle Royale games. Way too many. It's frustrating and it's annoying. Well, I'll tell you though, the comments, the hostile comments, the comments, you know, regarding, like, you know, what is it, like, you know, because, like, if you guys stuck with my channel for, like, a few years, you guys know that, like, 2 years ago, the comments were much worse than they are now. Like, you know, sometimes you'll see that annoying comment that'll say, like, you know, play GTA Online right now. Sometimes you'll occasionally see that. But, you know, it's nowhere near as bad as it was, like, 2 years ago. Like, 2 years ago, like, my videos were just spammed. Like, it was just spammed endlessly. Like, my Red Dead videos, they were just spammed. Like, there was, like, dozens and dozens of comments saying, oh, this game is garbage, GTA Online is better. It was all over the place. And over time, those comments decreased. Like, they're less and less and less over time. And I think the reason is because those people who were complaining realized that their complaining wasn't going anywhere. They realized that by complaining, I wasn't going to change my mind. I wasn't going to start playing GTA Online all of a sudden. And so, therefore, they probably unsubscribed, a lot of them. And that's probably what ended up happening. So, you know, you can't please them. You can't please everyone. That's just what ends up happening. And it happened. I remember seeing those comments. My moderators remember it too. My moderators had to time out so many people. Like on oh my god, it was so bad. There were so many people. I would love to see you do a playthrough of the Order 1886. I think you would really enjoy it. Underrated game in my opinion. I could do that one day, Eric. Thank you for the super chat. Do you think Johnny should have died? No. I'll do a video on that eventually. But I guess we'll probably wrap up the stream here. I'll probably answer like 1 or 2 questions before I go. I usually buy yearly PlayStation Plus. You're playing on PC? No, I'm playing on PS4. Well, PS5, but it's a PS4 game. Which story is darker, GTA 4 or Liberty City stories? Well, they're both pretty dark, but GTA 4 is definitely the darker one. Yeah, I stream Red Dead on Fridays. Can you do more unboxing videos? Yes. The next unboxing video that I'll have is probably in October, because I can't really think of anything else to do an unboxing on. And I'll be unboxing the House of Ashes Collector's Edition. So I'll get that, and I'll unbox that. I played Season 4 in Warzone. It's okay. I wasn't really that impressed by it. When is the next Lost and Damned video? Probably, you know, maybe tomorrow. Maybe tonight's a little too late to put it out now. But, yeah, I'll definitely have it up, for you guys, as soon as I can. If it's not tonight, please be patient with me. I'll have it up tomorrow. Oh, I'm gonna have it either up tonight or tomorrow. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna get something to eat right now, and if I don't have enough time tonight, I'll do it tomorrow, definitely. Diabolic, just be patient with me. It'll be up.
Yeah, fun stream tonight.
That's a form of cyberbullying, and I don't like that, Pearl. I always notice that people did that to you, and I respect you and enjoy all your content and the commentary. You are one of the best at it. Smart. Thank you, DJ. Good stream, Pearl. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Fernando, for the super chat. Thank you, DJ, for the comment. Thank you, Hunter, for the super chat. Good stream as always, Patrick. Keep doing you. Thank you, man. Eat well. Thank you, Delta Wolf. Well, I guess I'll be heading out here, guys. So, thank you everybody for the support and watching the stream today. Watch this person in the back of my horse, but I'll be going. I will be going here. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll try to have the Lost and Damned part up tonight, the Brian confrontation. But if I don't have that up tonight, I'll have it up early tomorrow. Maybe it's best I upload it early tomorrow, so more people see it Saturday at midday. But I'll see. I'll see if I can get it up tonight. So thank you guys for watching. Let me here. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I guess I will, I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone.